Hey guys, it's Tom. It's Sunday morning, bright and early, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I am broadcasting the Uber Bowl 12, the Autumn Wind Championship game. Autumn Wind, a 30-team keeper league, Stratomatic football, of course. Otherwise, why would you be listening? And we got a good matchup between Claude's Montreal Alouettes, a perennially one of the top franchises every year in Autumn Wind, and Neil Shannon's Baltimore Ravens, who I know were very good last year. And this year, I've only been in Autumn Wind 2 seasons now, so I don't know all the history as well. But I know Neil was in a playoff game last year because I called it. It was a very good playoff game with Dennis. She lost like in overtime on a block punt or late fourth quarter on a block punt. Dennis said, well, he didn't lose because of the block punt. I had the field position advantage. Dennis, the guy got a punt blocked like his own 18-yard line. They kicked the field goal to win. Anyway, I start my show insulting Dennis, even though he's nothing to do with this. Anyway, let me tell these guys that I'm here so they can get started. I'm going to mute my mic for a minute and bear with me. All right, I joined the game. We should be in business. Look like they dropped and reconnected. I do want play animation. Now, Claude's club was only 10-6 this year. Both of these guys played in very good divisions, very strong divisions. I was in Claude's division. I was in fourth place at 8-8. 3 teams had 10 wins or more, including the number 1 team going 15-1. And I think Neil's division also had 3 teams with double-digit victories, including Neil going 14-2. Yes, 14-2, 10-6, 10-6, 7-8-1. But anytime you have 3 divisions with 3 teams in the division with double-digit victories, and then the team on top has got a dominant record, 14-2 or 15-1, that shows you what kind of division you're dealing with. I looked at these clubs briefly this morning. I think I might like Montreal in this game. Now, Baltimore was the more dominant regular season team. As you'd expect, they were 14-2. Montreal 10-6. This Baltimore offense has got like Nick Foles and Chris Ivory as his quarterback running back combination. So I think you're going to have a tough time moving the ball against the Montreal defense. The Baltimore defense is excellent against the run, good against the pass. But I think that with Claude having Drew Brees, he has some opportunities there against that back 7 to do some things, to move the ball. It'd probably be a low-scoring game. Baltimore's got a huge advantage in special teams. He's got, number 1, Claude's kicker is terrible. Matt Prater is like 2-6 and 12 from the 23-32, which might have been okay 40 years ago. It's not okay now. And Claude's opponent kick coverage is not good, plus 33, plus 30. And his returners are only okay. Neil has a more solid kicking game and has much better coverage, and Neil has very good returners. Particularly Omar Bolden, the number 1 back on kick returns, has a tremendous card. And with Claude having plus 33 and plus 30 on 7 and 8, Bolden will be running every kick out. They're 8 or 9 yards deep, so, You can get out to the 24, maybe out to the 28, something like that. But that little bit of yardage helps. And then on punts, he's got Darren Sproles as a touchdown on 3 and a plus 17 on 5. So, so Neil could have a big advantage there. But I do think that Claude, I think Claude could really shut down the Baltimore offense possibly here. And one thing that's interesting is now Claude was only plus 34 in points scored in the regular season, whereas Neil was almost plus 200. But again, we're looking at a matchup today. This is a 30-team league. You make the Super Bowl in a 30-team league. You have your work cut out for you. See, these guys don't seem like they're used to people watching the game. Because guys are user dropped, spectator joined, user dropped. Guys do it all the time. I don't know what that is, but that's what happens. So they need to just kick off and get started. We have Jean here, Jean Lafleur. I think he's French Canadian. Here with Lawrence watching the game. Glad to see that. I'm going to check everything is good to go here. Yes, it is. Okay. So they said we're going to have an 11:10 kickoff to accommodate spectators. It's 11:06, so we're only 4 minutes from kickoff. Now, I think last year Claude was 15-1, and then lost in the playoffs. I played him twice this year. I was in his division. He beat me both times. My club was only 8-8. In the second of those games, I got all kinds of luck and got like a 20-0 or 20-3 halftime lead. But then he put me away rather easily in the second half. Montreal. Yeah, last year Claude was 15-1, only gave up 195 points. And I think he lost in the first round of the playoffs. So this year he goes 10-6 and he's in the Super Bowl. So that's the way it goes. Last year Baltimore was 11-5, only allowed 168 points. Anyone listening is probably an Autumn Wind coach or very familiar with Autumn Wind and the way this league goes. They do what we call the double counting draft league defenses. You see, the Strat Draft League team defensive cards have many more readings on them for Defender X and Blocker and things like that than the stock team defensive cards do. So you get a benefit by having very good defenders, more so with the Draft League team defensive cards than you do with the stock team defensive cards. And then some leagues also will give you a team defense, poor, average, good, excellent, what have you, based upon the total number of points your defenders add up to. And Autumn Wind is probably the foremost among leagues in doing that. Probably one of the two most well-known leagues out there right now is Samifa. So then you get a benefit because your card is actually good instead of average, and additionally you have 5s and 6s instead of 4s and 5s. So we call that double counting. And anytime you do double counting with the strat leagues, the defenses it can get really good, and especially so you always want. I think you always want to try to get at least a good pass defense if you can. So the 30-team keeper league, so it's harder to make those things happen unless you're a very good general manager year in year out, which I think people do. I think Claude is. I guess that's Ed Carpenter watching the game. Coastal Carp. He's in the strat game, not watching my broadcast. Claude suggests that I sing the national anthems on Hangout. That's not going to happen, Claude. Mostly because I don't know the Canadian words. Oh, Canada. I could Google it. I think the ratings would probably plummet, Claude, if I was to Google. I Googled it, Canadian national anthem. Spell mode off. Canadian national anthem lyrics. Microphone off. Oh my goodness, they're in French and English. There it is. Oh, Canada, Our home and native land, true patriot. I don't even know how it all goes. You get 1.5 bars. That's all, Claude. It's over, Johnny. And make sure the broadcast is good. I'm waiting for the game to start here. We got spectators standing by. So these guys think that we're not ready because people kept joining and dropping, but we are ready. So kick off. Now, Claude was 10-6. He was a wild card team, so he's won 3. He's won 3 games this postseason. Beat New England 31-10. I think that was Jeff Smith's team. Beat the 15-1 Gary Nagata Rams. Nagata, I believe, 21-10. Then he beat the defending champion Raiders 23-17. And here's the kickoff. And looks like Baltimore received the kick. Booming kick into the end zone. Looks like that went to the one back. I don't know why he downed it. So you're giving away your advantage there, Neil, with your great Omar Bolden card if you're going to be downing kicks. And the other guy's got plus 33 and plus 30. I would hope that in the Super Bowl you had scouted out that type of thing for the other team, but we'll see what happens. Of course, the coaches cannot hear us. That is taboo. So that's a touchback. We will have 1st and 10 for the Ravens to start Super Bowl 12 here in February 2016. Aaron right for Chris Ivory. Defense guesses pass. Double team is Dez Bryant. Ivory pops 3 on his card for 9 yards. Ivory has a very solid card guessed wrong. Has short gains and stuff and gets some decent yardage guessed right. Has some big runs guessed wrong. You know, it's not a great card, but it's okay. Now, Claude plays a 3-4. He's good against the run, good against the pass. 5-6-4 on the defensive front. That nose tackle 6 looming large. Secondary is a strength of this defense with a 6 at right corner, 4 at left corner, 6 free safety, 5 strong safety. So Dez Bryant, covered by the 4, will receive a lot of attention over the top from that free safety double teaming, especially with Nick Foles not particularly dangerous as the deep passer, as a quarterback in general this year. So you have 2nd and 1. Off tackle right to Chris Ivory. Defense gets his run, has the linebacker in there. Offensive onside tackle +4 -1. And terrible offensive tackle, Guido Giacomi. I know because he's on the Jets now, unfortunately. Missed the block. He's only at 4. And it's a 1-yard loss for Ivory, setting him 3rd and 2. I think that Neil has a decent backup running back, so this may be a run-heavy type of team. Defense, special teams, see what happens. Claude, the linebackers aren't that sharp. 4-0-4-4 against the pass. I know they're a little better than that against the run. Trent Cole, the outside, is a 5 against the run. This left inside 0 is a 4 against the run. D'Amico Ryan's also a 5 against the run. Long pass to Dez Bryant. Defense gets the run. No man there. Covered by a 4. Man on man. This could be a big play here. On 3rd and 2. Receiver, Dez Bryant. He's got it. 26 yards at a 1st down. And close lucky it wasn't worse. Boy, in a game that's going to be low scoring, possibly, and very tightly contested, I don't know you want to give up too many long pass no-man chances to Dez Bryant. And he paid the price in that one. Could have been worse. 26-yard completion from Nick Foles, his first pass attempt of the day. But look, you got to do what you got to do to try to win the game. Flat pass left to Zach Ertz, 2 men in zone there. This could be big for Claude. But Nick Foles hits his own card. 6 is complete for a 6-yard gain. So last year's Super Bowl winning quarterback was Jake Locker. This year, one of the teams is starting Nick Foles. This is not the good Nick Foles 27 touchdown, 2 interception card. It's a rather pedestrian subpar. Not as bad as next year's St. Louis Rams card will be, but his career is on a downward slope, apparently. 2nd and 4, which no one would have forecast 2 years ago, I believe. Except maybe Chip Kelly, who got rid of him. 2nd and 4 Ravens at the Montreal 40. So things have started out well for Baltimore. Here, off tackle right, Chris Ivory. Defense gets his run, but there's no one there. Offense running behind the right tackle 4. And Chris Ivory loses a yard on 9. Not what you want to see. It's kind of strange card. He's got some decent things are right, but lose a yard here or there. Got some decent things are wrong. Not completely boomer bust, but he's okay. But that yard hurts because obviously now Neil is facing a linebacker run containment situation. And Neil's got a very good kicker. Justin Tucker, I think, can kick it out from about the 41. So you might see it running, although he does go 3 wide. And you see a nose tackle 6. That minimizes your chances of, or the likelihood that I'll run the ball here. Reggie Bush is checked in as a running back in this third down situation. Brandon Lloyd, your third receiver. Jordy Nelson is a split end left. Des Bryant, flanker right. Zach Ertz, the tight end for the 14-2 Baltimore Ravens. Flat pass right, Zach Ertz, 1 man there. Linebacker is a 4. Defender is a 5. Defender -1 plus 3. Defender makes the play. So Neil loses a yard again. And he could have punted. I wonder if that cost him a chance at a field goal. I don't know if he would have tried it. Might not want to risk the field position. He goes for the coffin corner, and it's a nice one down to the 6-yard line. Let's try and take a look real quick at Justin Tucker for Neil. 33-38 is 2-6-12, so he was not in field goal range. And here comes that Montreal offense. Drew Brees is your quarterback. Eric Decker and Roddy White, your receivers. Scott Chandler, tight end, although other tight ends are mixed into the game. Chris Johnson is the starting running back. Off tackle left, Chris Johnson, running behind a good run-blocking offensive line. And Johnson gains 5 yards in his card. You know, Chris Johnson's card kind of similar to Chris Ivory's in a lot of ways. They're both in the Jets last year. Johnson actually had a decent season as the number 2 running back. He's okay against run. Doesn't have as much boom or bust as Ivory, or as much. Well, he doesn't have as many big runs as Ivory. Look at his offensive line. 5'7" left tackle, 6'7" left guard, 5'5" center. He's a flat pass left to Eric Decker. Defense gets his pass. 1 linebacker there. And the white die 6, linebacker vacates the zone, and it's a big 20-yard pickup from Drew Brees to Eric Decker. And this Raven defense is a 4-3. Excellent against the run, good against the pass, with some good pass rush. They go 6'5", 5'6", but because they're a 4-3, they can be targeted for flat passing by Drew Brees. Short pass, Eric Decker, covered by 6, 3 men there. Defense gets his pass. And with that pass blocking, the dump-off could be in play. Although Neil has some pass rush, but this offensive line looks pretty formidable for the Alouettes. And sure enough, there's a dump-off. Brees checks down to a secondary receiver. It looks like it's going to be Marcel Reese, the fullback, for 10 yards and a first down. And the Alouettes started at their own 6, and zip, 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 they're up to the 41. And only, I think, about 3 plays. Your right guard for this team is 6'4" Jari Evans, the veteran. Right tackle 6'5" Lane Johnson, so excellent run blocking. Short pass, Roddy White, 3 men in zone. Roddy's covered by a 4. And that's part of the problem for Neil today. He has got to defend the flat pass, and he's got to defend 2 downfield receivers covered by 4s. Here comes pressure from Baltimore to Michael Bennett, the left end, gets through. It's a sack. A big 10-yard loss. Michael Bennett, the left end, 6'9", gets past Lane Johnson, the right tackle, 6'5", only a 5 pass blocking. And that's the kind of matchup that Neil's going to need, as well as I think maybe an occasional blitz. One of these teams has Terrell Suggs. It is Neil, and Suggs would be blocked by the center. But Suggs is only a 4 against the pass. They can't put him too often because he'll be targeted both as a pass defender and with passes to his flat pass zone. Second down to 20. Carlos Hyde checks in. Here's the off tackle wrong. 8 is a 2-yard gain. So, I mean, obviously, pass rush is such a big deal. If you can get sacks, especially here. Well, I was going to say especially because this should be a low-scoring game and blah, 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 blah. But the defenses are so good, maybe the sack is not as important. I don't know. Because it might stop you anyway. 3rd and 18. Neil goes to a dime as Shane Vereen checks in along with Gavin Escobar for the Alouettes. Now, Vereen in this slot is covered by Terrell Suggs, so certainly not going to see Suggs blitzing too much on 3rd and long. You may indeed see some double teaming of Vereen. Chandler's covered by a 5. Roddy White's covered by a 4. You can get a first down in that dime, but yeah, he puts a man in there. Short pass, Eric Decker, 4 men in zone. Decker covered by a 6. This is not likely to be a first down. But Montreal recoups some of the yards they lost on the sack with an 11-yard completion to Decker, well short of the first down. It's 4th and 7, midway through the first quarter. Alouettes punting from their own 44. Darren Sproles is back. He goes for the coffin corner from his own 44, and he gets a booming punt, so the strategy works out well. Works out wonderfully. A 55-yard coffin corner punt from his own 44. Goes out of bounds at the 1-yard line. That was Sam Martin. So he wanted to avoid Darren Sproles there. You could end up with some 40-yard nets and 35-yard nets, but that's not the end of the world. But a 55-yard punt was out of bounds at the Baltimore 1-yard line. So Baltimore's second possession here is going to start at their own 1. Montreal started at their own 6. So that's certainly winning the field position battle right there. Remember, Baltimore lost a yard on the last 2 offensive plays. They cannot afford to do that now. Everyone knows the looking pass means you cannot lose yardage on Stratton that play. Possibly a line book, but you know the defense is looking for those things. Maybe do something else. That best right there's Bryant. Defense gets the pass. 5 men on the line. The guy's a 4. Linebacker in zone, +1 or +5. He's only a 4, but he makes the play, so only 1 yard. Now, Claude's had a couple of 4s making plays here in the first couple of series for the Ravens. And there's Bryant picks up 1 yard. And that was a 1-33 sack chance with 5 men on the line of scrimmage for Montreal on the flat pass. The random was a 36. That's how close Neal came to suffering a safety here early in the Super Bowl. It's not early in the first quarter, but it is early in the Super Bowl. 2nd and 9 Ravens for their own 2-yard line. Boy, would they like to get at least 1 first down, hopefully a couple, and get out from the shadow of their own end zone. If there are any shadows at 11:20 in the morning, perhaps. Off tackle right, Chris Ivory. No one there. Defense gets the pass. Double team is Dez. And Ivory gains 3 yards on his own card. See, 2 is +71. He's got a couple of short gains. Got a couple of 3, 4, 5-yard runs. He's all right. Makes it a 3rd down and 6 for Baltimore at their own 5. Now, the Ravens, I think, their pass blocking is not that great. They do have a left tackle, 6'7", but they got a 4-3 at left guard, 4-4 center, 5'7" right guard is very good. 4-3 right tackle. So he's got 3 positions there where you can possibly get through and get to Nick Foles. I think there's a little bit of pass rush coming out of Montreal. JPP is a 12. Dontari Poe is a 6. So JPP against Bruno Giacomini. Not a good matchup for Baltimore. Looking back to Zach Ertz being double teamed. Nice pickup by Claude. And is picked. Intercepted clean on Nick Foles' card. Inside his own 10-yard line, run back, touchdown. Nick Foles was looking over the middle on 3rd and 5 from his own 6 for Zach Ertz. Claude had correctly double-teamed, 11 on the quarterback's card, a clean interception. And Dante Whitner, the strong safety, waltzes into the end zone for an 8-yard touchdown. And it's 7-0 Alouettes in Super Bowl 12. Now, Neal, has got the great defense. Wants to play it probably close to the vest. Both these teams have been playing great defense this postseason. So turnovers obviously wants to avoid. He's got to be upset that happened to him. But the correct double team is what made it happen. Who knows what would have happened otherwise with this split, but obviously it would have been at least 50% incomplete. Flat pass right lands Kendricks. There's a linebacker there. There was another touchback. Again, the kickoff goes 8 yards deep in the end zone. Neal's downing this. I don't understand why he's downing it. Omar Bolton's 6 is 37 yards. The opponent defense is +33 on 7, +30 on 8. So if you get a bad return, you're still north of the 20. He's knee-jerking it, and it's costing him yardage. It's unfortunate. 2nd and 10, as we had a flat pass to Lance Kendricks. Incomplete. Again, the coaches do not listen to these broadcasts, so we're free to say what we want. We're not going to tip anybody's hand or whatever. So 3 wide formation on 2nd down and 10 here for Baltimore. Chris Ivory remains the running back. Maybe wants to really attack the flats here. We'll see. So Emerald left to Chris Ivory, not fooling anyone. Defense against his run. There was a 4 there. Defensive end -2 or +3. Chris Long could not make the play. Was banged up a lot last year, and I think again this year. So it's a 3-yard gain for Ivory, 3rd and 7. And once again, Nick Foles is asked to come through for the Ravens on 3rd and long. Last time was a disastrous interception return for a touchdown. Brandon Lloyd's your 3rd receiver. He's covered by extra defensive back 4, Demetrius McCray. Reggie Bush, the running back. Long pass, Jordy Nelson. Covered by 6. No man there, but defense guessing pass. Defender extra plus 29. That'll be swatted away effortlessly by future Hall of Famer Darrelle Revis. And the Ravens will punt. Dustin Colquitt. Defense going for the block. It's a good punt for Colquitt, about 50 yards. It's going to be down around the 30-yard line for Marcus Sherrill. It's not a great returner. And he signals for a fair catch. Does have plus 18 on 10. And the Alouettes will take over. 4:12 to go in the first quarter, leading 7-0 after the interception return for a touchdown. So long pass, no men against the 6. It's not no big deal. Guessed right. That's really not a high percentage play. But guys, try and get the long game. But if I was a defense, I wouldn't be too scared. You're a little nervous, but flat pass right, Marshall Reese. Defense guessing pass, double teaming elsewhere. Defender X plus 2 or plus 8. That is Terrell Suggs. Pass coverage is not his forte. He cannot make the play. He's only a 4. 8-yard pickup for Montreal. Now, this has obviously been a defensive quarter with these two defensive-minded teams, but the Alouettes did have some success moving the ball on their other possession. So we'll see if they can keep that going. Linebook Chamberlain, defense guesses pass. And offensive center, plus 3 or plus 0. Max Unger's a 5, could not make the block. There's a bad break against Claude. No gain, makes 3rd and 2. Now, these are excellent run defense cards. The excellent set of run defense cards for Baltimore. 6-5-5-6 defensive line. But Claude is a great run blocking line, so he might be able to have a little more success there. Just needs to avoid the defender readings. And there are more blocking readings than defender readings. And, of course, Neil playing a 4-3, you're less likely to see men in the zone. Of course, I say that. I bet he plugs the zone now. He did. Flat pass left, Eric Decker. Covered by a 6. There's a linebacker 5 there. Defense guesses pass. Let's see what Breeze can do. He's got a great flat pass card. Receiver guess right is complete for a 2-yard loss as Decker is drilled back, and we're going to see another punt. Let's see if Claude goes for the coffin corner again like he did last time. It looks like he's going to. Sam Martin of the NFL Detroit Lions. And here it comes, a coffin corner kick, and this time it hurts him. That is not a good one. That is a 34-yard net. But you know what? If that's going to be your bad coffin corner, and you can avoid Sproles getting his hands on it, maybe it's not a bad strategy at all. So, interesting ploy by Claude, and I think it will serve him well. End run right for Chris Ivory. Defense guessing pass, double teaming. Defensive end plus 1 or plus 5. Jason Pierre-Paul is a 5, so it's only a 1-yard pickup for Ivory, who has 6 carries for 14 yards. Finding the going slow here in the opening quarter of Super Bowl 12. 2nd and 9 Ravens at their own 34. He goes 3 wide again. He ran last time on this, and Claude guessed it correctly. And ran right, Chris Ivory running at the 5 again. Defense double teaming. Offensive end plus 2 or minus 1. And Zach Ertz is normally a 5, was able to make the block that time as a 4 because of the 3 wide, but it's only a 2-yard gain. Claude himself is good and good, as I may have said earlier. 3rd and 7 Ravens at their own 36. I don't think we've seen a 3rd down pickup for the Baltimore in these spots. They had the long pass to Des Bryant, guess wrong. I think on their first possession, I'm not sure they've had any other first downs. I'd have to double check that. They may have one. Short pass, Brandon Lloyd. Defense double teaming elsewhere. Lloyd covered by 4. But we have pass rush from JPP, and down goes Foles. Breno Giacomini, the right tackle 4-3, could not handle Jason Pierre-Paul. And JPP throws Foles for a 5-yard loss. 4th and 12. The Ravens will punt again. Dustin Colquitt, defense looking for the block. Gets about a 45-yard punt. That's going to be inside the 30. It's going to be Marcus Sherrill's again. And he signals for a fair catch again. And we are down to the final seconds of the first quarter. 7-0 Montreal. They're at their own 24. 18 seconds to go. I probably should not. Yeah, Baltimore only has 1 first down. Montreal 2. But they have the 8-yard interception return for a touchdown, which is looming large right now in a defensive game. Off tackle left, Chris Johnson. Defense calls pass. Johnson gains 2 yards. And we enter the second quarter. It's going to be Chris Johnson and Carlos Hyde toting the rock for the Alouettes today. Shades of the real-life Super Bowl with Baltimore, where Denver got that strip sack fumble for a touchdown. And that held up for a very long time and indeed ended up propelling them to victory. Linebacker Carlos Hyde gets wrong, gets 5 yards on his card. He's got a pretty decent card as well. 3rd down and 3. Alouettes at their own 31. Between Hyde and Ivory, there should be plenty of carries for the Alouettes. They could mix Vereen in every now and then just to make sure that that is the case. Looking past Scott Chandler, defense gets the pass. Linebackers a 5, defenders a 4. Drew Brees won something on his own card. Picked off 2 to 4, incomplete. That's going to be incomplete. And here comes another punt. We're going to see a lot of punting today. Probably another coffin corner. He's already done it twice. I'm sure he's going to keep doing it, I guess. And I think it makes sense. I think it's a good strategy by Claude here. Oh, my goodness. Snake Eyes, 71-yarder. Well, I'll tell you, we'd all be coffin cornering if we could roll 2s and 3s every time. Claude's got 2 out of 3 of those. Had a 63-yard net coffin corner. You don't see that every day of the week. And Baltimore's down to their own 6. Second straight drive. They'll start inside. Second straight drive, they will start inside their own 10. Lance Kendricks is your blocking back. You already see the offensive line advantage for Montreal. Flat pass left to Kendricks. He is covered by a 4, and the defender's a 4. Linebacker zone +1 and +5, and again a 4 makes the play for Claude. Neil's got to say, I need to beat these guys. I need to get those 5 yards. You're putting me in long down and distance situations. 2nd and 9 for Neil at his own 7. We've already seen Neil sacked, and he can be sacked by this team. So you're going to be very careful here with the threat of the safety. We saw him sacked once. We saw him almost sacked his last time down near his own end zone. Off tackle left, Chris Ivory. No linebackers there. Running behind the offensive tackle 6. Blocking back 4. 8 is 8 yards. Nice pickup on the defense's card. Just shy of a first down. And Baltimore faces a big 3rd and 1 here. Look, the Ravens are a little behind the 8 ball. They're down 7-0. They keep getting stuck in their own 20. The 4s are making plays. First, then he would make Neil feel like, all right, good. Maybe now I can get something going here. Let's change the narrative. Whereas if he doesn't get it, it's going to be, oh, boy, here we go again. Got to punt it back to Claude. Claude's going to go to field position. Yada, yada, yada. Now, Neil likes to run the ball, so I think we might see a run, but no longer under threat of the safety from his own 15. It's end run left, Chris Ivory. Claude King, Chris Ivory. Great play by Claude. Offensive onside end, 0 or -1. That is a 1-yard loss. So Neil would not have gotten it anyway. But we've seen now 2 key plays where Claude diagnosed them perfectly and got the good result. Here's a punt from Colquitt's a 43-yarder, and that's going to be down about the 45 for Sherrills. And he rolls Snake Eyes. It's a big 35-yard return. Oh, my goodness. The break's going Montreal's way. I mean, Claude had the 2 great defensive calls, the run key on 3rd and 1 and the correct double team on 3rd and 5 that led to the pick 6 for a touchdown from the 8-yard line. And now he gets a Snake Eyes punt return. A 35-yarder, so an 8-yard net. Long pass, Roddy White, covered by a 4. There was a 6 defender back there. Defense gets his pass. We're at the Baltimore 22. Intercepted 2-7, incomplete. So Claude was going for the home run ball, maybe to put this Super Bowl away at 14-0 in the second quarter, Tom. Well, what I mean is, his defense is playing well. It's a good matchup for his defense. Goes up 14 points. I know it's early, but you're going to feel pretty good about the way this game is playing out if you're Claude. Off tackle right, Carlos Hyde. Defense gets his pass. No linebackers there. Defensive tackle +3 or +7. And Nick Fairley makes the play. He's a 5. 5 on a 5. 3rd and 7. Now, Matt Prater, the beleaguered Alouettes kicker, can kick reasonably well from inside the 22. Claude does not seem like the type to just accept the field goal. I did play him a couple times this year, but maybe that was also because my defense was so porous. So we'll see how he plays this. He does go 2 tights, 2 wide with a shotgun, but it's Marcel Reese back there. Not a great running card. So you probably will see a passing play here. Also, it's excellent pass blocking, so really not as much of a threat of the sack. The pick would be the issue when you are going against a good pass defense. Maybe we'll see a flat pass. Short pass, Scott Chandler, covered by a 5, 4-man in zone. Defense gets his passes. So 3rd and 7, a big one for Claude. As he takes his time before clicking. He's hopeful. Either that or there's a glitch. No, he was pausing for poise, and there was a dump-off opportunity as Baltimore could not get to the quarterback, but it was incomplete. Breeze unable to connect with Marcel Reese. And here comes Matt Prater for the 36-yard field goal. It is up and good, 2-9 from this distance. 10-0 Alouettes, early second quarter. And here's a kick down to the 2-back, and a possible fumble. Oh, no, it's a fumble. But Baltimore recovers it. Oh, man. Who tried to advance it? Oh, no. What has Neil wrought? The kick was down to the 1-yard line to the 2-back. He ran it out 12 yards, but fumbled it. Neil recovered, tried to advance the loose ball, fumbled the advancement. Alouettes recover. Alouettes recovered the fumble kick return after Neil tried to advance it. He could have fallen on it. And now it's 10-0 Alouettes at the Baltimore 16. A second huge turnover. End run right for Chris Johnson. Claude's got to be just very excited right now, very enthused for what might be in front of his Montreal Alouettes team here in Super Bowl 12. Pitch out to Johnson, gains 6 yards. Second turnover. Now, you can get a touchdown on those. You get some long returns. I know the fumble, I think, is on 10 in the fumble advancement chart. A little surprised Neil tried to advance that one. I thought he would fall on it with his temperament. But maybe he felt that things are going against me. I got to try and make something happen. 2nd and 4. Montreal at the Baltimore 10. Already leading 10-0. Defense showing blitz. Shane Vereen and Marcel Reese in the backfield. Vereen's covered by a 5. Reese is covered by the left linebacker 4. Now, Claude run it. He'll have Vereen. The old bring in the backup guy and run it. These are veteran coaches, and we all know the possibilities here. There's an off tackle to Vereen left. And, of course, Neil gets his run. Like I said, veteran coaches. And 7 on Vereen's card is no gain. So 3rd and 4. And, folks, there's only 8:42 to go in the first half. Well, Montreal, if they could punch this in for a touchdown and go up 17-0 with their defense matching up very well with the Nick Foles Ravens offense, you'd have to like their chances the rest of the way. 3rd and 4, Alouettes at the 10, just outside of the no-fly pass zone. Linebacker Shane Vereen. Defense gets the pass. Defensive left tackle -1 and +8. And Nick Fairley makes the play again. He's a 5. So it's a 1-yard loss. And out comes Matt Prater for the field goal attempt. It'll be a 20-yarder. It's up and it's good, 2-11. Montreal leads 13-0. Here comes the kickoff. 8 yards deep to the 1-back. Please take it out, Neil. It's Omar Bolden. No. He's taking a knee with Omar Bolden. 3 times. The guy's got +33. That's nothing wrong about that. I'm almost certain. I'm going to double-check the Alouettes kick coverage. You need to look at this before you get into the game. +33, +35. Your guy's got +37 and 60 and downing it 8 yards deep. Not my cup of tea. And run left for Chris Ivory. Offensive onside end +2 or -1. Lance Kendricks cannot make the block, so it's a 1-yard loss. This Ravens ground game going nowhere. The Raven offense going nowhere outside of a 26-yard long pass. Are they still stuck on 1 first down? The Ravens have 1 first down and 50 yards of offense. Montreal has 2 first downs and 59 yards of offense. But they got the turnovers in the short field, and they're up 13-0. 2nd and 11, 3 wide for the Ravens. Long pass, Zach Ertz. Nobody there. One guy there. Defender extra long gain. He's a 5. It is incomplete. Dante Whitner, who had the pick 6 for a touchdown on the successful double team of Zach Ertz in the first quarter, there makes the play, and it's 3rd down and 11. I felt this was a tough matchup for this Ravens offense against Montreal, and that's before they fell behind 13-0. So Neil's trying to do what he can to make it work for his club. 3rd and 11 from his own 19. 3 wides, 1 halfback. That's Reggie Bush. Threw Brandon Lloyd in this spot last time. Defense was double teaming elsewhere. Short pass, Jordy Nelson. Correct double team by Claude again. And that's incomplete on Nick Foles' card. And it would have been incomplete either way, but still, you'll like to see that. But Nick Foles' short pass right pick is 2 11 and 12. This guy's in the Super Bowl with him. 4th and 11 from his own 19. We're 14 and 2 with that guy. A 30-40 punt. Special teams are killing Baltimore. I thought they'd have an advantage. Marcus Terrell from his own 47 returns it 5 yards. But right now, Montreal is booming punts, 63 hard coughing corners down inside the 10. And Baltimore's last 2 punts went about a combined net 40 yards. After Marcus Terrell's 35-yard return, and this one a bit of a shank. So Montreal's got the ball 1st and 10 at the Baltimore 48. Short pass got Chandler, 4 men there. Chandler covered by 4, the strong safety. No one's a turnover. Receiver gets right, 8 complete, 14 yards. Alouettes down to the 34, 5:42 to go in the first half. Baltimore received the kick to start this game. Montreal can score and hold Baltimore. They're going to get the ball back to start the third quarter. The signs are favoring Montreal big time right now. Linebacker Chris Johnson, defense gets his pass. Good interior blocking for Montreal. 11 is a 6-yard gain for Johnson, who has the occasional big run sprinkled in. 3 is plus 35. 2nd down and 4 Montreal at the Baltimore 28. Shane Vereen checks in. He rotates the running backs in. Marcel Reese, the ever-present fullback, it looks like. Old school pro set formation for Claude. Looking past Shane Vereen. No linebackers there. One guy on the line of scrimmage, so it's going to be guess right. And receiver guess right is a 7-yard pickup. Vereen, one of the best receiving running backs in the NFL. And he catches it and gets the first down. Montreal driving. They're at the Baltimore 21. Only 4:30 to go in the first half. 13-0. Even a field goal here is nice. 16-0. With that defensive advantage that you have right now. Drew Brees 7 of 10 for 88 yards and a touchdown. Off tackle right to Chris Johnson. Defense gets the pass. Everyone stands still. 7 of his card is 2 yards. Run some more clock, which Claude would love to do that. Let's go. Still have to score about 2 minutes left. I mean, you're not gonna run the entire clock when you're at the 19 with 3:54 to go. Defense shows blitz. Claude's got excellent pass blocking though. Carlos Hyde now in the game at halfback. Claude taking his time with this play call. So linebacker Carlos Hyde, nobody there. Defense did blitz the safety. Snake eyes on Hyde's card is only a 3-yard gain, guess wrong. Well, pretty much anything that gets yardage and is not a turnover is in Claude's favor right now. We have a 3rd and 5 Alouettes from the Baltimore 16, 3:18 to go. On the strength of 2 huge turnovers and a dominating defensive performance, Montreal's up 13-0 and looking for more. Pro set, Shane Vereen, 3rd and 5. Looks like the defense might be going nickel 3-3-5. If they do, I think you're going to see a running play out of Claude. That's probably just a strat default, though. Neil has not clicked yet, as far as I can see. Don't do it, Neil. Stay 4-3. There he goes. Stays 4-3. Doesn't want to give him that nose tackle 4 with the good run blocking that Claude has. But doesn't want to make it too enticing for Claude. Claude might run it anyway. And he might get it anyway. Those 6s on the right side. Nice to run behind those guys. Claude definitely taking his time with some of these play calls. It's the Super Bowl. If you can't take your time in the Super Bowl, when can you? And we have a timeout by the defense. Okay. Something he didn't like that he saw. as the game comes to a standstill here at 11:44 a.m. on the East Coast. 9 Mountain, 8:44 Pacific. I didn't tell Dennis I was doing this. I meant to text him. 3rd and 5, Montreal. Defense goes nickel 3-3-5 now. I think Claude's going to run it. The key is Neil going to guess run? But Claude doesn't mind throwing it when they're expecting pass in these types of situations. But you have to avoid the turnover. You need to get at least those 3 points and make it a 2-score game, more than a 2-score game. Linebook draw for Vereen. There's nobody there. You can get this on the defense's card easily. It's a 9 in his own card is a 5-yard gain, but middle linebacker Koa Misi provided containment, stopped Vereen just short, and on 4th and 1, Matt Prater comes out for yet another field goal attempt. This one, 2-11, is up and good. 16-0 Alouettes. 2:24 to go in the first half. Here comes the kickoff down to the 2. Omar Bolden finally gets a chance to return one, and he's going to break it. Snake Eyes, 77 yards. Omar Bolden, a 77-yard return all the way down to the Montreal 21. You see what a great card this has that Neil's been keeping in mothballs for the first half. But, look, Baltimore needs something to get back in this game, and they need a lot of it. 1 touchdown is not going to get the job done, but it's a start. Anything's a start. And that's 16-0. Now they're at the Montreal 21. They still only have 1 first down. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Neil finally getting a break. Off tackle left, Chris Ivory. Defense gets his run. No linebackers there. Defensive onside end. 0 or plus 17. That's a big 17-yard pickup. Chris Long was banged up. He's been a 4 in the past anyway. And the White Die 6 beat the 4. 17 yards for Ivory. 1st and goal, Baltimore at the Montreal 4. As things get very interesting here at the end of the first half, only 90 seconds to go. Full house backfield. Chris Polk is your extra running back. Ray Agnew, the fullback. Ray Agnew fumbled that kick return that he tried to pick up in advance. The kick return fumble. There was a kick return fumble. Ray Agnew picked it up, tried to advance it, and he fumbled. Montreal recovered and kicked the field goal. Montreal's offense has not found the end zone, and they're winning 16-0. 3 field goals and a pick 6. Now, he does have good, decent run ratings here. The left inside is not a 0 against the run. Off tackle right, Chris Ivory. 1 linebacker there. Defense against his run. Blocking is a 6.56, so that looks good. And Ivory plows his way into the end zone. A 4-yard touchdown. Will Neil go for 2? He will not. He goes for the 1. And it's up and good. Could have gone for 2 to make it 16-8. And then you need another touchdown, a 2-pointer. That seems unlikely. This one's kicked 9 yards deep in the end zone. I'm sure Claude will down it. He did not have Omar Bolden back there. And Baltimore has tremendous kick coverage. So Baltimore finally gets a big break with the kick return. They finally get their second first down of the game with like 1:30 to go in the first half. And they punch it into the end zone to cut it to 16-7. Now they got to play some defense. Only 1:15 to go. And Claude's going to get the ball to start the third quarter. So these next 2 possessions are really important for the Ravens to halt the Alouettes and give themselves a chance to go on another scoring drive and get within 1 score. Pitch out right, Chris Johnson. Defense gets the pass. Left end's a 6. Defensive end -3 or +2. He's a 6. That's -3. Michael Bennett Jr., who I just traded for in Somsville a couple weeks ago. I have a good team in that league. They're not of a competitive team in my other 2 modern keeper leagues. Those teams are rebuilding. 2nd and 13. No one calls timeout. 45 seconds left. Claude is probably content to run this out and take his chances with the kickoff to start the third quarter. Just wants to avoid disaster. Brings in Carlos Hyde, who almost never fumbles. Chris Johnson's fumble number was low too, 3.0. Defense nickel 3-3-5. If Claude can do a linebacker and pop an 18 yards, maybe then he can think about trying to get into field goal range. 7 on the defense is only a 3-yard gain, and 8 would have been 15 yards. I forget that because Neil's excellent. And now I think you'll see Baltimore call a timeout. They should, and they do. So Baltimore calls timeout with 37 seconds to go. They only have 1 timeout remaining. They called one on defense, something they didn't like in the formation or something. on Claude's last possession. It's 3rd and 10 Montreal for their own 20. Now remember, Montreal's been doing the coffin corners. If this is like doesn't go anywhere and he gets a 40-yard punt, Neal needs about 23 yards to get to field goal range. So not likely, but possible. I think Claude's going to run it here. He goes 2 tights, 2 wides, 1 running back. Marcel Reese. Defense dime 3-2-6. Either going to run it or throw a looking pass. Does not want to chance the 9 interception short pass, and Breeze even has a decent chance at a pick on his own card. Guessed right. It's a short pass, Gavin Escobar, 4 men in zone. Taking a chance. Doesn't want to get that 9 in the defense. That would be disastrous. Could cost you the Super Bowl. 3rd and 10 gets a 4 in the defense's guard. Incomplete, so Baltimore gets to save a timeout. I don't like that play call for Claude. But he's got Drew Brees, and he's in the Super Bowl, and I haven't even made the AW playoffs, so what do I know? 4th and 10. Coffin corner for his own 20. So he gets like a 40-yard punt here. Looks like a better coffin corner. Not that great. 42 yards. Baltimore's at their own 38. Justin Tucker can kick it from the Montreal 38. So we need at least 24 yards. And you've got 1 timeout and 22 seconds left. So best case scenario, you got 3 plays to get 24 yards of timeout and a 2 to 6 and 12 55-yard field goal. Get Nick Foles a quarterback. So what you don't need is one of those dreadful must-run ratings. The guy that can't run that well. Hey, you guys get 6 yards or more, but okay. Guy looks like 6 units of long pass right complete. We play the white die 6. You might see a flat pass to Chris Ivory. Try and beat the linebacker 4 for a big gain. Or if that left for Ivory. Look for something his card. The 2 snake guys are 71 yards. Nose tackle plus 4 plus 9. Only a 4-yard gain. And now Neal will probably have to call his last time out. Probably should have done a pitch out. Don't go quietly into that good night, Neal. Could spike the ball. Then he needs 20 yards to get into field goal range. He calls his last timeout, which I think he had to do. It's unfortunate he had to call that timeout on defense earlier. I think it was a 3rd down. I think he went from a nickel to a 4-3. Or from a 4-3 to a nickel. He changed the formation he had originally. Second knee goes 3 wide, needs 20 yards. If the guy gets out of bounds, he's got 2 plays. If there are 2 bombs, he'll be lucky on one of them. I think Claude's going to stand still with 4 men in short pass and 2 men deep. Darren Sproles has checked in, better receiver and running back. By far. Defense goes nickel 3-3-5, gets out of that dime, even though defense has no timeouts. Long back, Zach Ertz, 2 men there. So you got to get Foles' card 10, 11, to 12 and right, I believe. And 8 on the defense's card is incomplete. Just avoids the clean interception on 7. So now needing 20 yards, you'll probably see another long pass, desperate attempt to get in field goal range. I don't think Ivory has big runs in the end run. I think it's only an off tackle and maybe line buck. Neal investigating. Now, he doesn't, quote-unquote, need a touchdown, so you can throw to guys who are not dots. I'm not even sure if this league uses the dot rule for receiving. I forget. So Neal needs 20 yards here to get in field goal range. Otherwise, you could try a Hail Mary or just take a knee, or we'll probably throw a looking pass, something on the last play of the half. It's 8 seconds to go. Nick Foles 5 of 11 for 33 yards. Not going to win a lot of games when your quarterback is doing that. Long pass to Bryant. 2 men there. Needs 10, 11, or 12 in Foles' cards, but a 1 in 12 chance. And he gets it. 10 of his cards, a long gain. Bryant down the sideline. Can he get out of bounds? A 31-yard completion to the 27. And the clock is going to expire. He cannot spike the ball. It says, look at this, all zeros. Had to call that time on defense, which changed everything. The cruel fates of Stratomatic. They gave Neil the long game. They put him within sight of the goalposts. Justin Tucker was warming up, but the clock expired. Oh. And Neil requests a 3-minute break. Claude says request denied. No, of course not. Claude says okay. 16-7 Alouettes. Super Bowl 12. It's been a crazy game. Yeah, Neil Shannon, these guys are punting back and forth for a while to start things off. They have good defenses. And then late in the first quarter, Neil was facing a 3rd and 5 inside his own 10. And disaster struck. He threw a looking pass to Zach Ertz, but he was correctly double-teamed by the defense. 11 on Nick Folkscar was then a clean interception. Dante Whitner waltzed into the end zone for an 8-yard interception return touchdown for the Alouettes to put them up 7-0. Now, Alouettes then had a decent drive. The Alouettes had a 35-yard punt return. I got to change the settings here on the highlights. Oh, you always have to show you the highlights. What's going on here? Super Bowl. Even the regular season, you should do that. So the 35-yard punt came in the second quarter. And did that precede the field goal? The field goal coming first. Yeah, that led to the field goal for Matt Prater to make it 10-0. And then just a couple minutes later, I think the ensuing kickoff actually was fumbled by Chris Polk, the 2-back for Baltimore. And Baltimore kicks off as a touchback. It was fumbled by Chris Polk, recovered by Ray Agnew for Baltimore, but instead of falling on it, Neil had him try to pick it up and run with it. And he fumbled 3 yards later, led to another Montreal field goal. Then you had another bad net punt for Baltimore. Short field led to another field goal. They were down 16-0, but they had a 77-yard kick return, led to a touchdown. So now it's 16-7. So they're back in it. Theoretically, they got to play some defense here. Flat pass, Eric Decker on the first play of the second half. It's a 5-yard completion for Breeze. We have not seen Drew Brees' card come up on the flat pass rights, and it's a very fine flat pass. It's an excellent flat pass card. Like I said in the brief pregame, I do feel like Montreal just has better play calling options against this Ravens defense than vice versa. Flat pass right, Eric Decker, defense guessing wrong. Linebacker's a 4, and a 4 on Breeze card is 10 yards and a first down. Breeze 9 of 13 for 83 yards. Not been asked to do a whole lot. Did a 10th one bomb that was incomplete, I believe. When Claude was aggressively going for the end zone from the Baltimore 22. Short pass, Roddy White being correctly double-teamed. 1st and 10 for Montreal at their own 35. Receiver rating incomplete on the double team. It was a 7, so it would have been incomplete regardless. 2nd and 10, Montreal at their own 35. Baltimore just want to stop the Alouettes here. And then, try and get some kind of points. Get on the board again, make it a 1-score game, make Claude sweat a little bit. This Alouette defense has been real tough. Long pass, Eric Decker. No man there. He's covered by 6. Long pass right, 2nd and 10. Breeze rolls a receiver incomplete. Decker does have 5, 9, 11, 12 long pass right units, so a number 2 receiver type of card. Had a fine first year for the Jets and another fine year this year for the Jets. And it'll be 3rd down and 10 Montreal. At their own 35, 13 minutes, 2 minutes into the second half is better to say. When's the last time you heard an announcer say 13 minutes left in the third quarter? That sounds awkward. So it's got a little bulky. Defense goes 9 and 3-2-6. Could be baiting Claude into throwing the old-looking pass. Meanwhile, he might pop his free safety 6 up there. It's a short pass, got Chandler, 4-man in zone, single coverage. Chandler covered by a 5. Breeze is kind of due for a third down, first down conversion in this situation. Claude takes his time before clicking in some of these big spots. And again, there's a dump off. We saw one of those in the first half, and the second linebacker was not blitzing. So Breeze easily checks it down to Marcel Reese. 10 yards at a first down, and Montreal looking good at their own 45. Now, these are all like basic, simple things that we all know as football coaches, but of course, Montreal would love to come down and put points to the board. This is a successful double team on Chandler. Short pass to Chandler, 4-man there. Let's see if Neal can get something now. You'd love some kind of turnover. That's for sure. And instead, Breeze checks it down again, 7 yards to Roddy White. 2nd and 3, Alouettes. They cross midfield. They're at the Baltimore 48. Breeze 11 of 17. 100 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Montreal 16 points, so a defensive touchdown and 3 field goals. One brought about by a fumbled kick return, fumble return, if that makes sense. Shane Vereen checks in. He's been getting the ball here. Look at Buster Reese. Defense guesses pass, has 1 blitz. Middle linebackers a 5. Plenty of good chances here for Montreal. Claude with the old slow click. And sure enough, Reed hits his card for a 4-yard gain. First down, Alouettes at the Baltimore 44. You see Reed has 3 through 10 complete on right, except for the receiver readings, of course. It's about as good as you can get on flat pass right. So 11:24 to go in the third quarter. 16-7 Montreal. Off tackle left, off tackle right. Chris Johnson. Defense guessing wrong. It's a 6-yard gain. Neal has pretty much conceded the first down run to Claude. Claude's taken it a little bit. Hasn't had the best success. He's had a couple of 6-yard runs. He's had quite a few 2- and 3-yard runs. Short pass, Roddy White. Defense gets his pass. 3 men there. Roddy covered by a 4. So defender X would favor the offense. And Breeze on his own card, very accurate. Threads the needle with a 11-yard gain. That is probably right, wrong, and double teamed. Breeze with 15 units of short pass right completion. And a decent must-run card. All these must-run cards this year improved because Strat finally stopped counting kneel downs in quarterback averages. So you see even guys like Drew Brees and Eli Manning, maybe not Eli, Drew Brees and other guys have decent must-run cards. As Chris Johnson takes a handoff left, gains 4 yards. 2nd down and 6. Montreal just methodically moving down the field, getting dump-offs, running the ball. There's a couple of good short passes. And running clock, getting close to scoring. This is the way you want to open the second half if you're leading 16-7. Off tackle right, Carlos Hyde, nobody there. Offensive onside tackle, +7 or +2. Lane Johnson makes the block. He's the 6. 7-yard gain behind this formidable Montreal offensive line. Chris Johnson checks back in. Claude getting those fresh legs out there. Carlos Hyde spelling Johnson. Shane Vereen in and out. Usually in short yardage, unusually enough. Montreal at the Baltimore 16, already leading 16-7. Lima Chris Johnson, defense gets his pass. 3 in his card to touchdown. 7 is a 2-yard gain. Brings it down to the 14, and now look at this clock, 8:24 to go. Claude's going to have possessed the ball for the first half of the third quarter. So at halftime, there's, 30 minutes of football left for 30 minutes of game clock. Claude will have used up 1/4 of that on his opening drive, already leading 16-7 and putting points on the board, barring a turnover or a missed field goal. So Claude putting a stamp on things right here. Short pass, Eric Decker. Defense shows blitz, does not blitz. Decker covered by 6. Only 3 linebackers there. There's that 7 again in Drew Brees. He's hit it 3 times, 11 yards. He's been accurate. 14 of 20 now. 126 yards. First down, Alouettes at the Baltimore 3. Full house backfield. Johnson, Reese, Vereen. Decker, the lone receiver, covered by a 6. Don't overlook Scott Chandler, covered by a 4, and Shane Vereen, covered by a 4. Vereen actually covered by a 5, it looks like. Neal needs a stop here. If anything, just to say, all right, at least I did something. Jeez. Touchdown here would put Claude up 23-7. Short pass, Scott Chandler. Defense gets the pass. Foreman there. Turnover would be huge. Maybe we'll never run the ball here. We'll see. It's pick 2-6, 11-12, and Breeze caught at 9 in the defense, 2-7 and 12. Claude taking his time before clicking. Defender X, or short gain, is complete. Touchdown. Roman Harper could not make the plays. Only a 4. I misread that. I thought it was a 5 covering Chandler. So it is a 3-yard touchdown pass from Drew Brees to Scott Chandler. The extra point is good by Matt Prater. 23-7 Alouettes. And they follow it up with a touchback. Montreal in excellent shape right now. They're up by 16. Theoretically, that's only 2 scores because you need 2 touchdowns and 2 and 2 2-point conversions. But they just used up half the third quarter, literally, and went on a touchdown drive in their quest for the Super Bowl championship here. I think Claude has won at least one before. I don't know the history of the league that well, but I know his team is always up there. I don't know if Neal has won one. I know his team is also always up there. So we'll see. So it's up to Nick Foles. See, this is not Neal's forte. Coming from our Emerald left, Chris Ivory. There's a guy there, but defense gets pass. And Ivory gets 11, 6-yard gain in his card. Neal's team is not built to come from behind. Pass blocking a little suspect. Nick Foles, very suspect. And, maybe you pop a 271-yard gain in Chris Ivory, but it's not like you got Justin Forsett who might really get a big run, or Jamal Charles or Lynch who's going to hit you with short gains, or even Terrence West has a 6 and 7 short gain off tackle run this year. 2nd down and 4, Baltimore at their own 26. They need to get going here. 6:54 to go in the third quarter. They get some points this drive and play some defense. They'll be in good shape. Defense really let them down last drive. Off tackle right to Chris Polk. Defense guesses right. And Polk gains no yard. This is not last year's. Chris Polk card is not bad, though. You see that. Not bad overall, but nothing, not terrible on right, but I think last year Polk had a very good card. I think he was the guy. The backup on the Eagles who had a good card last year. I think it was him. 3rd and 4, Baltimore. I think Bryce Brown also had a decent card, but I think Polk's was better. Much better. 6:18 to go. Blocking back formation. A lot of guys like to run it here. There's no containment. Defense sometimes thinking, they're not going to run it 3rd and 4. Defense knows that. Sometimes they just run. It's the old cat and mouse. Why we love this game. And we're right, Chris Ivory, there you go. Gets right by the defense. You need something on the defense's card, but not the defender. And he gets 8 plus 8 against those good team defensive cards. So Ivory now 15 carries, 61 yards, and gains 8 there. Maybe Chris Polk is the only backup running back for Baltimore. I'm not certain about that. They're still only at their own 34. They got a long way to go. And on left, Chris Ivory. Defense gets the pass. Nobody there. Defense was a 4. I was about to say, oh, no, there's a fumble. Blocking back. Oh, the 3rd turnover. Blocking back +5 or -1. Lance Kendricks made the block, but Chris Ivory was popped at the 39-yard line. Fumbled. It was a 3.0 out of 1,000. Alouettes recover. 3rd turnover of the game. They're at the Baltimore 39. They lead 23-7, and the handwriting is all but on the wall. Short pass, Marshall Reese, 3 men there. Defense guesses pass, incomplete. Montreal punches this in for a touchdown. It's 37. You can go mow the lawn or something. This one will be over. You'll have to keep him in the end zone here to keep his hopes alive. Shows blitz here. Montreal 2nd, 10 to the Baltimore 39. Now, the Alouettes do not have a good kicker, so they got to get down a lot closer before they can start thinking that a field goal attempt is reliable. Short pass Roddy White. Defense blitzes indeed, blitzing two guys. Shows blitz and blitzes another guy. Three men there. Claude looking for that 10, the sniper scope on the defense. And instead, the pressure gets to Breeze. It is Brandon McBain, with a little help from his friends, getting the sack, only 1-9. It's a 4-yard loss, makes it 3rd and 14. And if Montreal can't come through with a first down play here, they may have squandered their opportunity after the fumble. Although they ran some clock, and they'll punt it and pin Baltimore back, so it's not like it had no impact. You could also see Claude, if he gets close, go for it on 4th down. Could be no man's land. 4th and 4 from the 33, it's a good place to go for it. Flat pass right, Scott Chandler. Linebacker's a 4. Man covering Chandler this time is a 5. Receiver gets right as a 6-yard gain. So Claude's up to the Baltimore 37, 4th and 8. He's got a very good punter. So he's going to go for the long field goal attempt, which I think is not that bad for back here for Prater. It's really 23-32, where he's much worse than everyone else. A little surprised at this. Let's see what happens. The kick is up and good. 2-6 and 12. It's the type of day it's been for Neil. 54-yard kick is good. Here's a kick 9 yards deep to the one back. Take it out, Neil, for the love of God. Please take it out. Once, please. Just click yes. No? Oh, it takes out, he fumbles. No, he did not fumble. It was 11 possible fumble, but he did not end up getting the 1-4 in the white die that would have required a fumble. But look and see, 7:33, 8:36. Everything on your own card is 35 yards or better except the fumble. Of course, he hit the only thing, but you have to take that out. Of course, now it's a little too late. But at least you saw it now. 26-7, Baltimore trailing. This is all Montreal. Raven at their own 9-yard line. Now look, you can see a 28-26 final. They need 3 touchdowns, but this offense just does not seem equipped to score a lot of points against a solid defense. Long pass Zach Ertz. There's one linebacker, the one man there, and he's covered by 5. Defensive back in zone is going to be incomplete. As free safety 6, Devin McCourty made the play. He will make all plays. Chris Ivory, I think, is even running low on attempts. Only has 4 unfatigued attempts. So you can't just hammer him off tackle and try to hit that 2 plus 71. You feel like Baltimore needs something like a 80-yard play. So, they get a touchdown and be, are down by less than 2 touchdowns. Long pass Brandon Lloyd, covered by a 4. Only 3 men rushing for Montreal. Receiver gets right. He's complete 8, 26 yards. Lloyd is 9, 15 deep, a third receiver type. And Baltimore's out from the corner of their own end zone, the shadow of their own end zone. 2:42 to go in the third quarter. They trail 26-7. They're at their own 35. Nickel 3-3-5 against the 3 wide. And on left, Chris Ivory. Defense gets his pass. He's running at the 4. 9 on his card is a 6-yard gain. Did not suffer the white die 1. .206 to go here in the third quarter. 2nd and 4 Ravens. Chris Polk checks in. I guess he is the primary reserve. Not a bad card gets wrong, but no plus 71s that I'm aware of. Long pass Jordy Nelson. Defense gets his run. There's nobody there. Oh, my goodness. Defender extra long gains incomplete, though. Darrell Rivas. Now, I said long pass, no bet against 6, not that big a deal, but when he gets wrong and the guy's maxed out and you got the receivers, I'm really surprised Claude would do that up by 26-7. Here I am criticizing the coaching of the man who is 26-7, leading the Super Bowl, and I'm complaining about his decision making. But you can always find that's part of announcing, right? You're gonna do that. 3rd down and 4. Baltimore their own 41. Full 7 of 15 for 90 yards. Looking past Jordy Nelson, nobody there, but 2 blitzes means it will be guessed right. And it's still complete for 6 yards on Nick Foles' caught and a first down for Baltimore at their own 47. 1:12 to go in the third quarter. Three wide, one halfback. Again, Chris Ivory running very low in attempts now. On unfatigued attempts. We do have a spectator that has joined. Maybe someone that dropped earlier, I don't know. And the long pass, Brandon Lloyd. Defense guesses the pass. 1 man there. Defender X plus 27. He's only a 4. That's complete. 5 in the white die. 27-yard pickup from Nick Foles to Brandon Lloyd. And the Ravens are down to the Montreal 26, and we're still in the third quarter. 36 seconds left. They're down by 19. Long pass, Jordy Nelson again. Nobody there, but defense guesses right. 10, 11, 12, and Foles caught or a receiver, but 7's incomplete. All the strat coaches watching, just waiting for the interception split on the long pass. As Neil's getting aggressive, understandably, needs points in a hurry. But we've seen a lot of long passes, and now we've seen the pick, and it might be coming. 2nd and 10 for the Ravens at the Montreal 26. And run left, Chris Ivory. No linebackers there, but it's from a 3 wide. White die penalty in effect. White die penalty does apply, and Ivory only gains 1 yard instead of a short gain. So it'll be 39 Baltimore at the Montreal 25 as we start the fourth quarter. If they're stopped here, will they kick a field goal, try and make it 26-10, keep it within a theoretical 2 scores once you factor in 2-point conversions? I do think that's the way Neil will go. It's early in the game. Maybe get the turnover somewhere. We'll see. Long pass, Zach Ertz. Coming by 5. Nobody there. It's guess right. There it is. Nick Foles caught 12. Long gain. Touchdown, Ravens. A 3rd down and 9. Cole keeps giving him long pass, no men, and Neil throwing it. And he hits a 12. Long gain on Nick Foles caught. 10, 11, 12 complete. Long pass right. It is a 25-yard touchdown to make it 26-13. Neil's deciding now, should he go for 2 or not? He's going to go for 2. I think that's the right move. If he gets it, he's within 11, which is a touchdown, field goal, a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and field goal. Offense going full house. Defense showing blitz. I bet you we see a pass. Well, the full house certainly helps with the blocking, and you do only need 2 yards, so probably a run. I guarantee a run or a pass. How about that? Left tackle left, Chris Polk, 2 linebackers there, which is always tough in the 3-4 column. And he gets no yards on the defense. So the 2-point conversion attempt does not work, but I think it was still the right play. He can still take the lead with 2 touchdowns. Even if he had kicked the extra point, that would have been the case. And the kick goes deep in the end zone for Jordan Todman, who will take a knee. And we have a brand new ball game. It's 26-13 Montreal. We are in the opening moments of the fourth quarter. Look, if Baltimore can get a turnover, maybe a punt return for touchdown, or maybe a quick score once they get the ball back, or any kind of score eventually once they get the ball back, make it into a one possession game, then we can really see something. There's a north tackle left for Chris Johnson, who lost 2 yards. Marcel Reese, not a very good run blocker anymore, if he ever was. And that was a blocking back, no yards or -2, despite the wrong guess. So it's 2nd down and 12, Alouettes. Sounds like someone joined the broadcast. I bet that's Dennis. It is Dennis Crowley. Do you want to speak, Dennis, or do you want to just listen?
I'm good with whatever you want, Tom. I don't want to interrupt your flow, that's for sure.
Well, you could join in if you want. 2nd and 12. Alouettes at their own 18. It's 26-13. Are you just joining the game, Dennis?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Short pass, Roddy White. Defense guesses right. Basically, to give you, Dennis, a quick recap. Claude had a correct double team on a looking pass. Baltimore, the ball thrown 8-yard line. 11 on Nick Foles. Carr was a clean pick, double teamed. Dante Whitner returned 8 yards for a touchdown to make it 7-0 Montreal in the first quarter. Montreal kicked a field goal in the second quarter after a good punt return to make it 10-0. Then Baltimore fumbled the kick, and then picked up the fumble and tried to run with it and fumbled that.
Oh no!
And Montreal recovered, getting another field goal. Now, hold on, let me call this play first. That made it 13-0. It was 16-0 Montreal late in the first half. Short pass, Eric Decker, 3rd and 12. Big play here. The Colts need to get Ravens need to get the ball back. Defense double teaming elsewhere. Decker covered by a 4. Drew Brees has gotten dump offs here, but this time he needs more than 10 yards. Must run for Brees is 6 yards. That'll be well short of a first down. So Neal gets the job done after the touchdown to get back in the game, and he forces a punt. 4th and 6. Claude's been punting out of bounds every time to avoid Darren Sproles' 3 touchdown. Defense going for the block. Here's the call for corner. Not a good one at all this time. Had a couple of boomers in the first half. Dennis hit a 2 and a 3 on his own card. One was a 63-yard Coffin corner. That's a 38-yarder. Still, he avoids the automatic touchdown on the Sproles card. And the Ravens are back in the game. They're down 26-13. They were down 26-7, Dennis. They're down 26-13, 12:54 to go. Now, you played this team, so you know like the Ravens' offense not that strong. Nick Foles, Chris Ivory. Defense is the strength of the team. So he had an uphill battle trying to get back into it once he went down heavy. And Chris Ivory is down to only a couple of unfatigued carries. And there's one of them pitch out left to Chris Ivory from the 3 wide. Offensive onside guard, 8 plus 3. Only 3 yards. White die penalty. Well,
yeah, that would have been
formation penalty.
Yeah, it would have been 8 yards if he didn't have that one white eye penalty.
Yeah, he's been going 3 wide pretty much the whole second half, doing some running with Ivory, but he's almost done. So he's been sprinkling Chris Polk. Guess he didn't like the way things were unfolding against the 3-4. Has a 2nd down and 7. Now he scored a touchdown in 3rd and 10 or something like that. Late 3rd quarter, early 4th quarter. 25-yard long pass right, Nick Foles 12 touchdown. Long pass has Bryant. Nobody there. He's covered by a 4. Clark keeps giving him long pass, no men. He's covered by a 4, Dennis. Must run 10. It's 5 yards.
That's a sneaky good must run card there by Nick Foles too.
It is sneaky good. A lot of I commented earlier that a lot of guys have good must-run cards this year. Strat getting rid of the kneel down. So I was criticizing Claude for giving him long pass no men. Meanwhile, he's winning the Super Bowl 26-7. And went 15-1 last year. I'm criticizing his coaching, but the announcers do that in real life, even the ones who are not former jocks. So I feel justified. 3rd and 2. But my advice would be no long pass no men's to Des Bryant. Do not let that happen. Either leave your guy there or double team him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
3rd and 2 for Nick, because Neal's been throwing long passes aggressively since he's been down 26-7.
Yeah, look, hoping for those big numbers, 10, 11, 12.
Long pass has Brian again. Norman there, coming by 4 again. He does it again. Claude, what are you doing? Long pass, Norman gets right. Defense is called. Defender X. Receiver incomplete. Right Close. Between 2 completions. 4th and 2 will Neal go for it or punt it.
You got to go here, right?
I would go for it, even though his offense kind of sucks. He's in the Super Bowl, 14-2.
His offense isn't bad except for Nick Foles. I mean, that's the only weak part in his offense. It's a testament to him that he's made it this far.
What about the run blocking and the pass blocking?
Oh, average. I wouldn't say they're poor, but it's 6 and a 5 there. He's got some blockers.
He's punting it. He punts it. It's going to be in the end zone for a touchback. Unless Marcus Sherrills runs it out. So he punted it. Now he's got a real good defense. I would have gone for it. I know guys don't want to lose the Super Bowl there, but
Has Neal been flat passing much? Because that's really, I think, the weakness of the Montreal team is aside from their 4 extra DB and cornerback, is those linebackers.
Well, Claude, what was base 3-4, Claude was flooding some flats, and Claude called a very good defensive game as there's a 2-yard run by Chris Johnson. There's been some flat passing in the second half. He's had some success with it, but I wouldn't say he's tried to make it a staple. Once he went down big, it's pretty much been runs with Ivory and bombs.
Right.
Second down and 8.
You can't blame him for that when he has when he has, has been given those 0-minute zone shots.
Linebacker Carlos Hyde, guess wrong, gains 3 yards.
Containment in effect here on third down.
Neither of these backs fumble much. And Claude's been, double teaming a guy, and up until this quarter, the double teams were all going great and everything, but you've seen, even just since you've been on, a couple of long pass no meant Des Bryant with a 4. You can't give them that shot when you're up in the Super Bowl by 13 points in the fourth quarter. And Claude's defense, I think, is a great matchup against Neal, and has done a great job so far. 5 pass left, Scott Chandler, big play here. He's covered by 5, linebackers at 5, 3rd and 5. Under 10 minutes to go, Drew Brees' card, 5, 7 yards in the first down. Brees has been workmanlike, solid, effective. He's gotten some clutch third down completions, and there's one of them. He's 17 of 25, 142, and a touchdown. I think he's only tried one bomb, maybe in the first half, hasn't needed to.
Well, that would have been a completion, right, wrong, or double team. So Brees has got his strength.
Linebacker Chris Johnson, defense guesses right, but good run blocking. 8 is a 5-yard gain. Chris Johnson, one of his better guessed right cards. So remember, for years he was boom or bust. 12 carries, 35 yards. 8:42 to go. Clock is a major factor right now. Now, has Claude won the Super Bowl championship before, and if so, how many?
He won the Super Bowl 3 years ago, so this will be his second title.
What about Neal?
Neal, I don't know.
Second and 5, off tackle right. Carlos Hyde, no one there. Defensive tackle -2 or +12. It's been that kind of game for Neal.
Yes.
Defensive tackle 5, Nick Fairley would have been 3rd and 7 instead. It's first down in Montreal territory. Now, there was a lot of that in the first quarter, and then it kind of toned down. But then you saw it rear its ugly head there. 5's not going to make every play, and Fairley has made a couple of plays already. But in that spot, that's a real killer. So you got 1st and 10 Montreal, 8:06 to go. I hear breakfast cooking in the Crowley household.
Oh, I'm at Starbucks.
Oh, okay. Just one, I heard a spatula.
Okay. They're doing their steaming stuff back there. Yeah, so...
And right, Chris Johnson, defense gets his pass. That is at a defensive end 6. Offensive onside end, +8 to +3. Only 3 yards behind Scott Chandler, the 4. But we are halfway through the third quarter. Now, Dennis, Baltimore scored by returning a kick 77 yards to the 21 to set up a touchdown right before the half. He's been taking a knee on all these kicks into the end zone with Omar Bolden, and the other guys got +33, +35. So not good scouting there.
Yeah.
Off tackle left for Carlos Hyde. 2nd and 7, gets a first down on his card. Hyde's got a good guess wrong card. Now, what was very impressive and key to this game, besides the 3 turnovers, Baltimore was -3 in turnovers. When Montreal was up 19-7, they were 16-7. They received the kick to start the second half. They used up half the quarter, went the length of the field, scored a touchdown to make it 26-7. Neal didn't see the ball until 7:30 to go in the third quarter, and he was now down by a score of 26-7. And we're right, Chris Johnson, defense guesses run. There's a linebacker there, and it's a 2-yard pickup, and that was probably a good call because it was +47, guess wrong.
Yeah, I would guess that is definitely a good call. Not probably.
Yes. Well, I had to look at it wrong first.
Yeah.
I had to click over and see because some of these guys have it now on 3 and 11 and things like that. So
yeah.
Old school, it was always on 2. 2nd and 8 for Montreal, the Baltimore 39, 6:18 to go. Montreal driving. A turnover here is really what Baltimore needs. We also have seen a 55-yard field goal, a 54-yard field goal from Neil Prater, 2 to 6 and 12. That is actually looming large right now. Linebacker Carlos Hyde. Defense guesses run. No linebackers there. Offensive onside center +3 or 0. Former Seahawk Max Unger makes the block. He missed one earlier in the game. And sets up a 3rd and 5. Montreal running that clock. Claude, he coaches a lot like Tim Bollier to me.
Yeah.
Very solid, steady, all-around game. Not going to do anything too crazy or stupid. Yeah, sure, he'll throw a bomb every now and then, but he can play good defense. He's happy to run the ball and work the clock and take his field goal or whatever. He's not going to act like a lunatic like I do sometimes.
Or me. I think he has a perfect team for milking the clock. You got, pretty good.
Hold on, Dennis. Let's call this 3rd down, 3rd and 5 at the 36.
Yeah, just keep
running. There's a linebacker there. You can get the first down on the defense. His offensive center +3 or +0. So he only gets 3 yards. Now 4th and 2. He's going to try a 2 to 6 and 12 field goal, which would probably win the game. I would think I would go for it. He already hit one of these, 2 to 6 and 12. Neal will hate if he hits this boy.
Well, this puts him up 16. He missed it.
It is no good. I missed it, and now he's got the ball at his own 40, 4:48 to go. So all that, running the ball and running the clock, you're getting the ball at his own 40. I would have gone for it.
He got the ball with about 8 minutes left, and he ran off.
He did
4 minutes on the clock.
I know, but 4th and 2, if you go for it, even if you don't get it, at least he's only at the 33. It's another 7 yards of field position. 2 to 6 and 12. It was 2 to 7 maybe. Long pass, Jordy Nelson. This time 2 men. Close says, all right, enough of the no men. I'll go with 2 men, and a false call that's incomplete. Now I said earlier in the half, Dennis, or in the quarter, Neal's been bombing away the whole quarter. We have not seen an interception split. So any track coach watching or listening knows that interception split on the defense is looming. Yeah, he's due big time. 3 wide, 1 halfback. Let's see if Claude leads Des Bryant in single coverage again. I don't think so.
I think he's just going to keep pulling that guy back.
I think it's the right
move.
move.
In the zone.
Well, back left, he's at Snake Eyes plus 71. But 3 wide. 9 is a 5-yard gain. Chris Ivory is now officially fatigued. 20 carries, 81 yards. 3rd and 5 Ravens at their own 45. And wasn't he the Baltimore Colts last year?
He was. He switched to the Ravens when they left the league. Chris Ivory, with his fatigue, he puts his hand up, says, "Coach, I need to come out." And in comes Chris Polk. He does not have that plus 71 on 2. So
no.
Don't look for any runs here.
A little Polk music. Now, you have seen some flat passes here, understandably. Let's see. Polk, I assume, can't really catch.
How about a flat pass to Brandon Lloyd, who will be guessed wrong on the receiver card?
Since he drops that guy back?
Yep.
Instead of the long pass to Brandon Lloyd, he went to 10, 11, 12 on Vols' card. Otherwise, nothing's probably going to happen.
Yep.
5 is incomplete. That was a white die 5, so I'm not sure what that would have been on a flat pass.
Nothing like
Neal will go. I think Neal will go for this one, Dennis.
I'm guessing you're right. Reggie Bush checks into the game.
That's right. X, so me for Jet. Nickel 3-3-5. And this could be it, folks. Montreal 26-13. The Ravens have got the ball at their own 45. 4th and 5, 3:36 to go. If does not make this, it's going to be turnover and downs. Looking past the Bush. Does not have a lot of yardage, guess right. 10 on Folks card. 5 yards in the first down. You get more football to pay attention to. There is no 3-minute warning. 3 minutes to go.
In the hindsight is 2020 realm, that was a long pass on Foles' card on a deep pass. But of course, you can't have it all the time. So.
Yeah, I think 4th and 5 would have been a bad spot for that play, personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Now they're asking if they're stuck. Looks like it. I don't know. Oh, what a tangled web we weave.
Yes.
Are you in the game or are you just on my broadcast?
I'm both. Yeah, I'm in the game too.
Okay, there we go. The dropping and reloading. Super Bowl 12 is brought to you by Starbucks, the LA edition.
Starbucks, the breakfast of champions. When you're getting your tires fixed at Costco, have a nice, juicy Starbucks. Thank you.
Have you seen the movie Dope, Dennis?
No, I have not.
It was a good movie. It was on Netflix, and I guess they couldn't use Starbucks. So the girl is like outside of a coffee shop, and instead of being called, let me know when the game is up.
Okay, I will.
Instead of being called Starbucks coffee, it's I click to join again, as I always fail and do. It's called $7 coffee instead of Starbucks coffee.
Nice. This was I never buy this fancy stuff. I just get the $2 coffee, whatever that is, Venti or Grande or whatever.
Well, like just you said, you're getting the car fixed, so I'm sure the audience is riveted by this, but they're wondering why we're not playing football. There we go.
Well, it's a credit. I mean, while we wait, the game is.
Are you in yet?
I am waiting for
server.
Waiting for server teams. So that means
that
means the
we're
game
connected,
is up.
But Claude is not yet.
Right. Right. So go ahead and make sure you do watch. And
yeah, I did do watch. Okay. Then what were you about to say? It's a credit to.
It's a credit to Neal that
Uzbekistan. Okay.
No, it's a credit to Neal that he's made it to the Uber Bowl with Nick Foles as quarterback. Most of us, when we have that type of team, we have a really strong defense, a decent running game. He had some weaknesses, but we would make that trade for the 1-year quarterback. he said, "Forget it. I'm not going to do it. Nick Foles is good enough for me," and he made it to the Super Bowl. And that's pretty nice coaching by him.
Sure.
And of course,
well, the double counting defense, I think, does make it easier to play that style of football.
Yes,
but look,
I would agree with that.
You did a tremendous job.
Right.
So.
And then Claude getting to the Super Bowl for the second time in 4 years. He's on the verge of winning his second title. That's pretty nice.
Absolutely, 30-team league. And he was only 10-6 this year. Last year was 15-1. Long pass, Brandon Lloyd comes by at 4. No, we have 2 men there now. Okay.
He needs that 10 or 11, 12. Yeah.
Lloyd did get a long pass right receiver before. It's exciting not having these interceptions come up, and he's getting a couple of completions every now and then on the bomb. We got a second and 10 as the crowd filters back in after the technical difficulty. By the way, we have Lawrence and Jean, or is it John LaFleur?
No, Jean.
Watching the broadcast. They'll need to email with the pronunciation explanation.
Yes, there
French,
you go.
Like Jean.
No, yeah,
John.
Jean Lafleur.
Yes. Long pass, Zach Ertz. Well, 2 men there. Doesn't matter who's covering him. What's at 10, 11, and 12. Gets a dump off. It's a 7-yard completion. So down to the Montreal 43. So Dennis, you can see we're getting into a situation here where Ravens are going to need a touchdown and an onside kick. There's not going to be enough time for them to probably get the ball back and win if they don't recover an onside kick. With that in mind, I think you don't have to go deep as often.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I would be doing bombs away right now. I think he needs to just continue to pick up first downs because, like you said, he's going to have to get the onside kick to have a chance.
You get the onside kick and bomb away anyway when he gets the onside kick.
Yeah, but you're reducing your chances. You're increasing your chances of a turnover. You're reducing your chances of actually scoring by going bomb.
Maybe get down to 25 and then bomb away. Maybe I don't know.
I still think that
I hate bombing away. If that left Chris Ivory now, the 2 would still be a touchdown, unless it's a white die penalty. Offensive onside end. That was at 2:06. He chose the.
Why are you running that way? You should run towards your tight end. That would have been a first down if he had run towards Ertz's side.
That's true. Well, the defensive end is a 4 on this side, and the other guy's a 6.
So that's part of it. Plus, he gets a boost from the offensive tackle.
Yes. So
but again, we're second guessing. Neither of us are in the Super Bowl. I had a great team and got knocked out by Neil. So, yeah, keep doing what you're doing, Neil. You know what you're doing.
What do you mean? He's losing.
Yeah, but he beat me. So who am I to give advice?
I'm just messing around. Of course, these guys are excellent coaches. Even when excellent coaches are out there, though, you can question things. I'm sure if I was playing someone was coaching, they don't coach it. Won't pass Zach Ertz, 2 minutes, 4th and 3.
This is it. 10 or 11, 12, or the game's over.
It's over. It's over, Johnny. No, dump off. Strat giveth and Strat taketh away. Dump off to Jordy Nelson. That was a 0 on a 2, 161 sack. As the crowd filtering back in after technical difficulty. 12-yard dump off completion. Neil deciding what to do with the clock now. You got to hurry up or spike it. You can't call timeout here.
Why not call timeout?
Save your timeouts for.
Well, I guess. Well, yeah, you can.
I guess I'm ahead of more. I guess I'm ahead of more. Thinking you can stop the other guy still with 3 timeouts to get the ball back. You get a punt to the Sproles. But you're probably right. And it's pretty much onside kick or nothing. I'm really upset that Neil was taking touchbacks with Omar Bolden against a bad opponent, KR. I pilloried him for it, like pretty much the entire first half. It happened like 4 times.
Excellent use of
pillory. Then he finally ran one out. He finally ran out. He got 11. Fumble 18 yards. He did not get the fumble, but he had the ball like his own 9-yard line. It's the only thing that was like under 30 yards. 3 wide. Long pass Des Bryant. 10, 11, 12. Here comes the pickup at Dennis.
You called it. Here comes. Nope. Dump off.
Dump off at 7 yards.
He's not getting out of bounds. He's got to talk to his players. They need to know to hit that sideline.
And that's a veteran, Brandon Lloyd.
Come on, Lloyd.
Now he wasn't always considered the headiest ball player, so now you see it in action. Timeout, just like in real life.
Timeout.
You already called one timeout, you might as well. And for a dime and for a dollar, you could have got a hurry up. Either way. Look, he's in bad shape no matter what.
We're inside 28 yards. I think that was That would have been the only completion on Foles' card that wasn't a touchdown, but now it will be a touchdown. So 10, 11, 12, it's a touchdown. You get the onside kick. You go for it.
So you got a 1 in 12 shot at that. Do it 3 times in a row. 2, 3,
But again,
4.
if you throw flat here, okay, go ahead.
Incomplete. Go ahead.
Remember, he's moving every time. He's doing the same thing. He's moving that extra DB to the long pass zone. You have all those extra receiver readings with Jordy Nelson and Des Bryant. If you'd been throwing short there, that might have been Defender X. But if it's not Defender X, even if it is Defender X, you go to Des Bryant, you get his either receiver reading or Defender X on a 4. You could have two of those completions. Your touchdown, yeah.
Well, like you said, you could go flat to Brandon Lloyd, who's going to be guessed wrong with no defender because that guy's popping back into the deep zone.
Right, and that's a white die 6 there, too.
Yes, and out of bounds more easily. And you're getting closer to the end zone. Long pass to Brandon Lloyd, 2 men there. Oh, it would have been Chris Hogan, Hogan's Heroes.
There it is, touchdown.
11 on his card. Touchdown. Oh, my gosh.
All right, Neil, don't listen to us. We're just a couple of idiots.
We're throwing a flat pass. Would have been picked off.
Yeah.
26-20 if he gets extra point, which hopefully he does. Here it is. Can you imagine he comes back and wins this game? Claude would not be happy. Was it 2, 3, and 12? And I can't tell if the animation. Oh, my goodness. Coming by Baltimore, the onside kick. Oh, stars and garters.
I love it. I love it.
What is going on here? Claude is saying, you have to be freaking kidding me. I don't think he's saying freaking. His first
how do you say freaking in French?
We need to consult the studio audience. Jean Lafleur.
Yes.
Just had a well-timed email. First attempt, Baltimore, their own 47, 1 timeout left. They need 53 yards for a touchdown. Nick Foles had been long past riding his team back from the precipice of disaster.
Now you go short, right? You start throwing short passes now, right? Right?
Do that. Foles is hot. I'm going up top. Press is hot. I'm throwing a bomb. I'm going deep to Des Bryant. Let the rest rule it is not a catch.
Chris Ivory back in the game.
Ward's got a double team as linebackers now or something. You can't just off tackle left with a linebacker. How about running a draw play if you're going to do that?
Plus 71. Plus 71.
Nope, plus 4. He's gonna call the last time out. I don't like that play call at all.
Well,
of course we didn't like the long passes that resulted in the touchdown. Getting the ball back out of there. So the midfield. Oh boy, to win your second Super Bowl in a 30-team league. Now you got to go through this. Claude is. I don't know what the temperature is. It's February in Canada, but Claude is sweating. I'll tell you that much. Jeez, yeah, this game was in the bag. 4th and 3 long pass. It's a dump off for the first down. Claude's like, where's an interception split? 2nd and 7. Claude double with the linebackers now. Double with linebackers, right?
He's not throwing flat, so why not? But with these receivers, I still think a short pass to Des Bryant, Lloyd, or Nelson, or Ertz even is a decent play.
Flat pass right to Darren Sproles. He's going to keep bombing away because he's been hot. That's what got him here. They got to dance with Who Brung Me. What an ending.
I talked to Tim. Yeah, I talked to
Bryant. 2 men back, 10, 11, 12 on Foles' card. He's been hitting it. 3, incomplete.
I talked to Tim. He says he thinks Neil has won the Super Bowl before. So this one, he has won.
Okay.
In the past at one point.
Was that via text message?
Yes, via Instant Messenger, AOL Instant Messenger.
Because he's not. Oh, okay. Mine doesn't work. It's not working for some reason since I got my computer back. 3rd down and 7, Baltimore. The action is speaking for itself, folks. 3rd and 7, Baltimore at midfield. A minute to go. Trailing 26-20. They need a touchdown to take the lead. Theoretically.
Can you imagine these two, like if they were playing face-to-face, cards and dice, Neil getting ready to roll that 10 or 11, 12 every time trying to hit that.
4 wide, 1 halfback. Nickel 3-3-5. Throw a flat pass to Sproles. This way. What do you say? Short pass. There you go. Short pass. But now he's double teamed by the linebacker. Foles hits it on his card. 6. Right, wrong, and double team. 12 yards and a first down.
Spike it.
Got to spike the ball here. He might run the hurry up and take 3 shots.
Okay, so here's a little more information from Tim. He remembers Neil winning on a last-minute drive, a run by Brandon Jacobs, who Tim traded to him. He broke a 55-yard run on that last drive. maybe that's why we're seeing a little bit of
Chris Ivory?
Yeah, Chris Ivory trying to hit that off tackle for the win.
At the Montreal 38, 37 seconds left. The gangly youngster, Nick Foles, trying to lead the team back from what looked like sure disaster. He's been bombing away. He's been completing passes. Two touchdowns so far this quarter for Foles.
No, he didn't. He did not spike it. He went for a hurry up. Now that wasted 8 seconds.
It did, but it didn't waste it down. He gives him 3 plays.
Yeah, but all you need is 1 for a pick. So
that's true, but
spike that ball and save the time.
Well, maybe the short pass is in play now. We saw the short pass to Des Bryant there. It was 3rd down. Well, we see now. How about a short pass to Chris Hogan? I'd like to see that.
How about Jordy Nelson?
Cover by 6. More likely to be double teamed. Long pass to Des Bryant. There's 2 men there. Nelson is double teamed. He's going short.
There it is.
7 pick on the defense. There is no flags. It is going to be hopefully take a knee, Claude. It's going to be.
Yeah, he'll take a knee. He's too smart to try to return it.
Yes, Claude's a slow clicker at times with the game of the line. Maybe he's jumping up and down.
Exactly.
Nick Foles looking deep for Des Bryant. Picked off by Jason McCourty. Down inside the 10-yard line. McCourty collapses to the ground. It would have been a first down and short pass. I see that.
Exactly. I hate to beat a dead horse, but short pass there gets you inside 28 yards. Or flat pass, sure.
And the Montreal Alouettes, on the strength of 3 turnovers, look, Claude played magnificent defense for like 3 quarters, and then it all collapsed, but still manages to hold on to a 26-20 Super Bowl victory, his 2nd in 4 years. Awesome. Neil Shannon did a great job. Hats off to both these coaches. This was a 10-6 team in the regular season for Montreal. Both of these guys played in tremendous divisions. And Montreal beat the 15-1 Rams and the defending champion Raiders in the playoffs to get here. Then defeats the 14-2 Ravens with excellent run defense to claim the Super Bowl 26-20, 2nd time in 4 years. Congratulations to Claude. Neil defeated your team, only 11-5, but a real good team, and defeated, I think, another 14-2 team, the Grand Rapids Panthers, is it? Grand Rapids?
The Grand Rapids Rampage.
Grand Rapids Rampage. That's what was that an arena name? I'm going to sidetracking. They were 14-2, so both of these guys, I mean, really ran the gauntlet, really beat some excellent teams to make this game. And this game was all Montreal for nearly 3 full quarters. And then almost a miracle comeback from Nick Foles. Foles just short. Alouette, 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 alley-oop.
I actually, last time I sang that song on a broadcast, I got an email from Claude giving me the origin of why they're called the Alouettes, the proud bird of the Canadian Air Force. So maybe the good thing is that since Neil didn't win, he might be less likely to review the game, so he will not hear me lambasting him for constantly taking a knee with Omar Bolden in the first half. And for me, constantly bagging on him for throwing deep when the short pass would have been a much better strategy in the end game, especially when you saw Claude pulling a guy back in the deep zone time after time after time.
Now, what's interesting, in fairness to Claude, I wonder if Claude would have kept doing that if Neil would have started throwing short. Interesting. Right. But there it is. You have it, Dennis. Super Bowl 12, Montreal 26, Baltimore 20. I did not get to call any of the rest of the AW playoffs. I was just very busy, and then I suffered a hard drive crash. But I'm glad I got to call the game this morning for posterity.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always much better when you bring these down for history's sake.
Well, I think I called last year's too, so we're 2 in a row now.
Okay, so let me read this email from Claude. The origin of the team's name comes from the 425th Squadron, the Royal Canadian Air Force, first French-Canadian squadron, founded in 1942. The 425th quickly became known as the Alouettes in honor of the native Gaelic bird, renowned tenacity as well as for its flying at very high altitude. The unit holds more than 190 medals for defending its country during the Second World War. And now it also holds a second Super Bowl trophy. Well done, Claude.
Gaelic?
That's what it says, Gaelic. I guess the Irish.
The French Irish Canadians?
Yes, absolutely. They're in there.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've said it all. You know, it's always exciting, I think. Look, take 2 championships. Look, you win a championship in a 30-team league, to me, that is a big deal.
A huge deal, absolutely.
I mean,
this is probably the league that I want to win the most, and I've come close, but I haven't gotten it done. I mean, this is a fantastic accomplishment to be able to win Autumn Wind, especially just like SOMIFA. You have a lot of quality coaches here. The 30-team league adds a different challenge. The double counting adds a different challenge. It's much harder to take an average team and run it through the playoffs in this format. So you need to have a good team. You need to be, up on your GMing skills, and you need to be up on your coaching skills, and you need to be lucky. And Claude has done all 3 of those things. So
yeah, you're right about the and you mentioned it before numerous times how the format in Autumn Wind, like the stronger teams are more likely to get through. I mean, I think Claude probably felt a little disappointed with his 10-6 regular season. I think we both picked him to do better despite the tough division. And last year was 15-1 and lost, I think, in his first playoff game, divisional round. So this year he goes the other way. The regular season a little disappointing, but he gets it all done in the postseason. I think we all have that result.
I think one thing you're seeing in Autumn Wind is you're seeing the same coaches over and over again put together their teams and make those runs. Let me go through the last 5 Super Bowl champions. Neil won 5 years ago. So Neil won, then Claude won, then Mark won, then Tim won, then Claude won again. So there's your champions, and those guys have all been in the playoffs almost every single year, going through those runs, trying to make it. So
sure. Well, yeah, and that's part of the. I think that really underscores the point of what you're saying. Even though in the last 2 Super Bowls, the loser is a former champion, a very recent champion. You mentioned Mark winning a few years ago. He lost last year. You mentioned Neil winning 4 or 5 years ago. He lost today. Last year, Neil had an excellent team. Was deep in was there in the playoffs with you in an epic playoff game.
Yep.
So yeah, So I think what you're seeing is guys who are good GMs for the long term. You're not seeing like you haven't really seen too much of the guy gear up for 1 year and then like tear it all apart the next year.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You're seeing guys who are, and I'll be honest, that's how I like to play. I want to try and build a franchise that'll compete every year, and I'm hoping to get there eventually with my Autumn Wind team. But it takes a few years, I think, because there's 30 teams and it's harder to draft and it's hard to trade for defensive players because they mean so much. But I think so all those guys should be commended for that and rewarded for building long-term franchises. Claude's there every year, but good.
Yeah, the other thing that it's much more difficult because it's a 30-team league. It takes a lot longer to fill all the holes that you need to become to go from a bad team to an average team to a good team to an excellent team. It's a slow process, and if you make a misstep in one of those early first or second round picks, it puts you back a couple years. So
or if you suffer a terrible injury at a key position,
right?
If you have a guy who looks like he's gonna be a franchise quarterback, and then all of a sudden he collapses.
He has a lacerated spleen, or.
I wasn't totally alluding to him because we got to see what he does this year. But let's say if you had Sam Bradford on the Rams and you thought he was going to be the real deal, and then not so much, then you're hurting. And
then the other thing that can happen to your team is that you don't have that franchise quarterback, and you invest first-round pick after first-round pick after first-round pick. You go through. You go after Christian Ponder one year, then Jake Locker another year, and then
Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert. Like you have now set yourself on a cycle that is going to make it that much more difficult to become a playoff team because you keep chasing that quarterback year after year.
Yeah, and as important as the quarterback is, you get a real good defense in this league. You can win with a mediocre offense because of the double counting.
Well, we almost had the last 2 champions be led by Jake Locker and Nick Foles, and not a good
Yes.
Nick Foles card either.
No,
Bad Nick
I said
Foles.
that earlier. Bad Nick Foles. Not as bad as next year's Nick Foles, but still a bad Nick Foles.
Right, but instead we had Drew Brees.
I think what held Neil back, if only he would have had Golden Tate on his team.
Yeah, Dave.
Dave, are you there,
Where's
Dave?
Dave, we need a little Golden Tate.
Dave joined the broadcast a couple minutes ago. You muted his microphone now. Is that a protest, Dave?
Come on, Dave.
Maybe he can't speak. He was picture only, looking very suave with the shirt and the tie, standing next to the, hi, I'm Dave Szymanski. It's like an encyclopedia commercial or something. I'm not sure. Come on, Dave. He can't talk, so.
Yeah. Well, Dave actually instant messaged me after the game to say, what did you think of the bomb strategy from Neil and the end game? So now Dave wants to know, how did he hook up? Hasn't he been on before? Hasn't he used? Just turn on your microphone, Dave.
Dave Szymanski, I told people to mute their mic. So you got to unmute the mic if you mute it on top, Dave. All right, now speak.
Am I on?
There you go.
Yes, you're on.
Yeah, you got to bring your mouth a little closer to the computer, though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we go.
Dave, come in, Dave.
Okay.
Actually, it's not that great. If you smash your forehead against the screen, I think it'll come in more clearly.
Okay, but is that any better?
Yes, it's fine. I'm just teasing you, Dave.
Oh, okay.
So did you watch the whole game, Dave?
No, I woke up a little late. I kind of got caught up with some sleep, and I just realized it was Super Bowl Sunday, and I turned it on, and it looked like it was almost over, and then I see Neil making a comeback, and I thought, well, this could be interesting.
Yes, folks, we're here with Dave Szymanski, the Duke of Philadelphia, a longtime Ooper League member, going back to Cards and Dice and the halcyon days of the league, and a coach of the Philadelphia Eagles in Autumn Wind. And we haven't had Dave on a long time, so it's good to have you on. We were just discussing the game and all the exciting stuff and talking about the league in general.
Well, one interesting thing about, we just had the Spring Fever draft, and Dennis, you picked up Matt Hasselbeck, right?
Yeah, just to see if I could trade him next year.
Well, what I want you to know about that pick is that my franchise with the Philadelphia Eagles goes back to 1978 in Oops. I kept that same team continuously with the same name, the same roster, the same keeper roster until we transitioned into the computer game, and I kept that same team. So it's the only Oops team with the same name, the same coach, the same player, continuously roster. And Hasselbeck, whenever he was drafted, he was my quarterback going back to the Dyson table days. So I just wanted you to know that that's kind of a historic player you have attached to Hasselbeck in the Spring Fever game.
Well, Dave, now my follow-up question is, but back in the day, you joined Oops in '78. Did you have Don Hasselbeck, the tight end, the father of Don Hasselbeck?
No, I did not.
Oh, that would have been just extra.
Yeah, that would have been something.
That would have been the cherry on top.
But you understand what I'm saying? That's a continuous roster I have with my Spring Fever team, not changed. Same continuous keepers all the way back to '78.
But what happened to Matt that made you cut him or trade him? How did he get off your team?
He probably retired.
Would you look at the youth? I mean, would you rather have Blaine Gabbert or Matt Hasselbeck for the future? I thought Blaine showed a little something.
I think that's a 50-50 prospect.
Maybe so. Okay, that might have been a big mistake. We'll see.
No, I'm just teasing.
More power to you.
Hold on.
I was just thrilled, Dennis. I was thrilled, but you picked him up. I said, good. I hope Dennis gets some use out of him.
Dennis,
cut off there.
Dennis, what was that question that Dave asked about the quarterbacks? Who would you rather have? What did he say?
Who would you rather have, Blaine Gabbert or Matt Hasselbeck going forward? From this point forward.
Okay. I guess I walked into that one.
None of the
No,
above.
it's all good. I mean, I think you're right. Blaine did show a little bit, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, Blaine showed some things this year. Who knows?
Yeah.
He'll have a better card than Andrew Luck next year.
I thought he was dead.
And even though I picked him up to trade him, it's not as easy to trade a veteran quarterback in Spring Fever because you only need one quarterback, so you don't need a backup. So
how many teams in Spring Fever?
24. So
what does Claude think about that?
Where's the trombone? That's what he thinks.
But yeah, no.
Anyway, tell me about the early part of the game, Tom. I didn't see it.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna jump. Let me jump off here. You guys talk. I got to go pick up my car.
All right, folks.
Congratulations, Claude. Congratulations, Neil.
Dennis, what town is that Starbucks that you're in?
I'm in Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Nice, home of the Single A baseball club, right?
That's right.
The Quakes.
Right.
I know Fred McGriff came through there, right? Oh, is there still a team? Is there still a team there?
Yeah, it used to be an Angels Single A franchise. Now it's the Dodgers Single A franchise.
Okay, and it was the Padres once upon a time as well, I believe. So, Fred McGriff's quote once was, "When you're playing for Rancho Cucamonga, you know you're in the minor leagues."
Rancho Cucamonga, as Jack Benny would say. All right, guys.
Folks, we're going to say goodbye to Dennis Crowley.
See you,
live from the Rancho Cucamonga Starbucks. You cannot make that up. And we are back. Oh, I'm not really ready to be shown here on the thing. But, all right, maybe a quick recap there, Dave. I did recap the game already, but there's no harm in doing it again. But basically what you had was, two defensive-minded teams. Neil doesn't want to turn the ball over, I'm sure. I think both coaches kind of play that way. They had a lot of confidence in their defense. I think right before kickoff, I said I did like Montreal in the game. I liked their matchup of Drew Brees against the Baltimore back seven better than Baltimore's matchup against the Alouette defense. I didn't really see Baltimore having a lot of good offensive options with their play calling. Early on, now Baltimore received the kick. I'm going to assume Montreal won and deferred, but I don't know. I don't remember that for sure. I joined right as they were kicking off. But late first quarter, Baltimore had the ball inside their own 10-yard line. They were facing like a 3rd and 5 from about their own 6-yard line or so, and they threw a looking pass to Zach Ertz, but Claude correctly double-teamed it, and Neal rolled it 11. Now Nick Foles caught in the flat pass, clean interception, 8-yard interception return for a touchdown to put Montreal up 7-0. Montreal continued to shut down Baltimore's offense really for nearly 3 quarters, and surprisingly, the Alouettes were getting the benefit of special teams play. Claude was kicking coffin corner punts every time to avoid Darren Sproles' 3 touchdown rating, and Claude has a very good punter, so he was still likely to get at least a 40-yard net. So it was a good strategy on his part, and also that Raven offense didn't look like they were going to do much against Montreal, and indeed they did not do much against Montreal, so why give them a chance to score with Sproles? He got like a 63-yard net. He rolled a snake eyes another time, and then conversely, Baltimore was downing kicks into the end zone, even though they had Omar Bolden, and Montreal had bad opponent kick return coverage. And Montreal was the ones that got a big punt return. They got a 35-yard punt return, snake eyes from Marcus Shirelles, which set up a field goal to put them up 10-0. Then disaster struck yet again for Neil Shannon and his Baltimore Ravens in the second quarter when Baltimore fumbled a kick return, and then they recovered the fumble, but they picked it up and tried to advance it and fumble it again. Now, credit to the Ravens defense, which did a very fine job in the first half, but they again held Montreal to a field goal. Montreal was up 13-0, and then I don't know if they got another short field or maybe finally had a decent drive. I forget exactly what happened, but Montreal kicked yet another field goal, all with Matt Prater, but they were all in close, 36, 20, and 29 yards. And Montreal was leading 16-0 with 2:24 to go in the first half. Now they kicked it off down to the 2-yard line, and Omar Bolden returned it 77 yards for the Ravens, all the way to the Baltimore 21-yard line. They needed something like that. They needed some kind of spark, and they took advantage of the short field. Chris Ivory went off tackle for a 4-yard touchdown run to make it 16-7 in favor of Montreal as the game went into the half. Now, here was a key part of the game, I think. When you look at clock management at the time, I certainly thought it was going to loom larger than it did. But Montreal received the kick to start the second half, and Claude used up literally half of the third quarter. He went on a beautiful, lengthy drive, getting some flat passes, mixing in some runs, getting a couple of clutch third down conversions, and used up 7.5 minutes of the clock on the third quarter. And Drew Brees connected with Scott Chandler for a 3-yard touchdown pass to put Montreal up 23-7. And it certainly seemed like things were the writing was on the wall, like it was going against Neil right there, and that Montreal was going to win going away. couple minutes later, Baltimore again suffered a disaster when Chris Ivory fumbled at about his own 39-yard line. Montreal recovered, and yet again a bad break for Neal. They held Montreal to only about 6 yards or so, maybe not even. And this surprised me. Montreal was up 23-7 with fewer than 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. And instead of, punting it or going for it, they trotted Matt Prater out for a 54-yard field goal attempt, 2-6 and 12. But if you missed it, Baltimore was getting the ball at their own 44, and Montreal had enjoyed a great field position advantage. But Prater hit the long field goal. I think it was on a 12. 54-yard field goal to make it 26-7. So again, he was just even further enforcing the idea that, boy, this was not Neal's day. It was going all against him. And, of course, Claude was coaching a real good game, but also getting some good breaks, and he was going to just win going away. And all of a sudden, late third quarter, down 26-7, it was, bombs away, and Baltimore started hitting, long pass rights on Nick Foles' card. They got, a receiver right reading and stuff like that. And they were inside the Montreal 30 early in the fourth quarter. Long pass right touchdown to Zach Ertz, 25 yards. Missed the two-point conversion, made it 26-13. Then Montreal ran some clock, tried another long field goal, which again surprised me, a 50-yarder with 4:48 to go. This time on a 4th and 2. I thought he should go for it. Missed the field goal. Baltimore took over, hit a couple of bombs, and with 1:22 left, Baltimore completed a 24-yard long pass touchdown, guess right, from Nick Foles to Brandon Lloyd to make it 26-20. And then horror upon horrors for the Alouettes, Baltimore recovered the onside kick. They got down to the Montreal 38. They had, I think, a second down and 10, no timeouts left, probably about 38 seconds left on the clock. And Neal had been throwing bombs almost every play by that point. It's probably thrown at least about 12 bombs in the fourth quarter alone. And this time it finally hurt him. All the strat coaches are waiting for it. He hit the 7 on the defense with 2 men, clean interception. I don't remember who intercepted that. Jason McCourty, the free safety for Montreal, picked it off at the 8-yard line, harmlessly fell to the ground. Montreal took a knee to run out the clock, and Claude had his second Super Bowl championship in 4 years, 26-20, well-deserved. He coached a very strong game, totally shut down Neal's offense for nearly 3 quarters, had some very key guest right calls in the first quarter, and then he also benefited from some good fortune, which can happen. But I think even if you wiped all the luck out, I just feel like Baltimore's offense was going to have a tough time in this matchup. And both guys did a great job getting here. But especially, of course, kudos to Claude for winning. So there's your recap, Dave.
Good rundown, Tom. It looks like when you look at the stats with 4 turnovers to 0, that pretty much compromised Neal's chances. It's very difficult to win a game when you're down 4 turnovers. Sure.
The last one was in desperation time, but certainly the first 3. Now, one you could say was a bit of his own doing. When he was already down 10-0, he was trying to maybe make something happen. He picked up a fumbled kick return and tried to run with it, and the guy fumbled it. Maybe he should have played a little more conservatively there, but again, he was already down 10-0, and he knew his offense was in for it. I mean, it's hard to look at a play so early in the game and say that it was really put a stamp on it, but much like the NFL Super Bowl this year with the strip sack fumble touchdown of Cam Newton by the Broncos, that pick 6 on the double team correct looking pass for 8 yards for Dante Whitner for a touchdown, it just seemed like Neal was behind the 8 ball really until he got the onside kick the whole game after that. Just never felt like he was right there within striking distance of Claude, whose defense just shut down Baltimore. I think late first half, Baltimore still had 50 yards offense.
Well, at least when you get a pure double team correct, and then it's returned for touchdown, so it's a little bit more credit to the defense. I know it's still a lucky roll to return it, but it was a good call by Claude, obviously.
Well, if you're at the 8-yard line, it's almost unlucky not to return it for a touchdown.
Yeah, that's true.
He would have had to roll a 7 or 8, I think, or 6 or 7. I forget where the +4 is. But no, Claude, especially the first quarter, Claude's defense was all over Neal's play calling.
I thought Claude made an interesting defensive call near the end when Neal was throwing nothing but bombs. He then all of a sudden double-teamed Floyd and Bryant and got Bryant on the short pass, one of the few short passes that Neal threw, and of course then he rolls the 7 to make the completion anyway. That was kind of ironic.
Yeah, it was a 6 actually on Foles' card, but I know what you're saying. But yeah, well, I think Claude probably felt. Well, you know what happened was Claude was bringing up a free safety, like into flats, into short pass, and doubling when he was up 26-7, and Neal burned him on a long pass no men, I think once or twice. And then I think Claude made the decision, all right, I'm not going to give him those long pass no mens anymore, because he was giving him quite a lot of them late third quarter, early fourth quarter. But then for the majority of the fourth quarter, Claude said, I'm going to sit here with 2 men back here. I'm going to make him beat me, long pass right, which you're not supposed to be able to do. But Neal was getting lucky. He was getting hot at that point with Nick Foles. So once it got within 1 score, Claude said, all right, I can't sit back here anymore. I got to do some double teaming, and I felt that was a good move by him.
Well, don't you think he could have forced that kind of defense sooner by mixing in a few short passes? It seems like if Neal had thrown a few more short passes, I think Neal would have then given up that 2 men in the deep zone a little bit more quickly, and maybe would have opened it up a little more for Neal. I was just thinking that you're right. It seems like Neal went to the bomb, but looked like Claude was definitely playing it safe with the 2 guys back there. But unless Neal throws short passes at that point, I don't think you could get Claude out of it until that one time. Like I said, he really turned the tables on Neal at the right time.
Yeah, well, I agree with you where personally I don't like bombing away against 2 men unless I have to. And Dennis was saying the same thing even on the last drive before Neal got the touchdown to make it 26-20. But it was working for Neal. His whole offense had sucked all game. He was bombing away. He was hitting it. And he was scoring touchdowns. So at that point, it was like, well, you know what? He's been hot doing this, so maybe he's just going to be hot and get a miracle comeback. So I agree. I agree with you. I think especially the last drive, he had a good chance to make some short passes. He did do the one that was complete, like you said. But it was what brought him back. He had been very hot with it. So I guess he was saying, you know what? Damn the numbers. Damn whether or not it's a good idea or a bad idea. I'm hot with this right now. I'm going to ride it until.
That's what he said. I think you're right. I think that's.
I'm going to ride it. I'm going to ride it until it fails, because we all know Neal's a good coach and normally conservative. I think by nature, like a solid conservative. I don't mean that in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? Like a defensive-minded coach. But nothing was going right for his offense the whole game. He did a 77-yard kick return instead of the touchdown. So I think he just said, you know what, this is working. I'm going to go with it. Screw it. If I go more conservative and I lose, I'm always going to wonder if I kept bombing away and I was so hot and I kept hitting those 12s and 11s of Nick Foles, would I have won? So
I think that's a very justifiable type of a mindset. And you're right. That is clear that I'm not saying that what I'm thinking is right. I'm just saying that I'm just wondering if he considered that. But you're right. I think that was his mindset, and I don't think there was really anything dramatically wrong with that thinking, because you're right. He would have regretted it had he not, because that one. I remember this one bomb when he had still the 2 men in zone. He got a quarterback right column. Hell, if he got in the bottom of the column, he would have won the game. But he got. I think he rolled a 4 or something.
That's right. Yeah, he rolled up high. But we're just talking about the options and the strategy. All right, Dave, I think I'm going to go. They're going to close the broadcast up. I got some things to take care of today. Thank you for coming.
Always, Tom. I'm sorry I tuned in late.
Oh, that's all right. I'm glad you showed up. Thanks to Lawrence, who's still in the studio audience.
How do I turn my camera on? I don't even know. I wonder if I can.
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll find out some other time.
Yeah, because we have seen you on cam before, so.
You don't want to miss that.
We had John LaFleur with us earlier. The video will be going up shortly, so I'm sure that Claude will get to revel in it for all time, as he deserves. And Neal did a great job as well, so congratulations to these 2 guys. That's another autumn win season in the books. The new ratings and stuff are only a few months away. Next thing you know, we'll be trading and drafting and starting all over again, and we'll see what happens in a 30-team league. Well-known, one of the most well-known leagues in the online community. Certainly one of the 2 most well-known leagues, and it's very unique with the 30-team keeper league and the history. All right, Dave, I'll talk to you later. This is Tom signing off. Goodbye, everybody.